Today is a special day, Hannah.
It is.
We'll get into it when we get to our actual episode, but today is our 100th episode celebration.
We've reached the century.
Yes.
Right?
No. Yes. Yes, century. 21st century, 20th century. Yes, we reached a century of episodes.
We've reached a century of episodes.
Yes, you'd be correct. Roman numeral C, I believe. Or that might be 500.
We're still as dumb
50,
as we were day
L is
one.
50, C, I think C might be 100. M is something, L is some. M is 1,000. So maybe it's C. Either way,
it
doesn't matter. We're just spouting nonsense as per usual. But, Hannah, I thought it might be interesting to loop full circle.
Yes.
So, last week, or actually earlier this week, I attended a defense celebration, a PhD defense celebration of a friend of the podcast, Abby.
Yes.
She's a doctor now, so congratulations to Dr. Abby.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff. Love to see it. I was there in person, though, and I won't name the names of who it was, because it's so long ago, but I was talking to someone who was there, and I hadn't seen them since the wedding that I attended.
Ah, yes.
And we were talking, and she's like, oh, I didn't recognize you, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I think I burned you.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, no. I was like, oh, it's fine. I was like, don't worry about it. Like, I am okay. It was an accident. Like, I'm like, no hard feelings. I really don't, have any hard feelings. But I was like, oh, no. I was like, I feel bad that the person that had happened with, heard about that after the fact. And, but I was like, I was not expecting that to come up.
Yeah.
In that instance. I felt bad, but then I was reminded of the time that I burned my ass.
Yeah.
At a wedding.
Yeah.
And it was quite the story. One of our first intros we ever did for a podcast.
Yes.
So, here we are, about almost 4 years later.
Yeah.
Same story, still coming up.
Same stories.
I'd just like to reiterate, my ass has healed.
Okay.
There's no mark. There's no burn mark.
Okay.
No redness. It looks normal.
Yeah.
You know? It did I recovered. I was fine. You know?
Yeah.
It was acceptable.
Sometimes you gotta burn your ass in life.
Sometimes you get your ass burned. It happens. Happens to the best of us.
It does happen to the best of us.
But I was reminded of that episode, and I was like, wow, what a way to celebrate 100 episodes by revisiting a story we told from maybe 3 years ago, for 3 to 4 years ago for an intro.
One of our first 5 episodes.
Yeah.
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 Burnt ass.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, well, to that, I lift my glass into 100 more years. No, 100 more episodes.
100 we go. Through the gums.
Over the lips.
Up the lips. Watch out, stomach.
To the hips.
To the hips.
It's gonna sound so horrible when you listen to this back.
Go ahead and now.
I don't like how much eye contact you're making with me. I kept waiting for you to say something. Oh, I don't like that.
Hello. This is Research Rank Repeat. This is co-host Hannah.
This is co-host Alyssa.
And we made it to 100.
We made it to 100. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! I'm just going to do our little movie clip. We have a little, you'll probably see it on our social media, a little placard that says episode 100. Starting now.
No one expected us to get to 100.
I think we were the least expecting people out of everyone.
Yeah, and we are here.
Yeah.
And it's It's grand.
It is truly a 100 grand. We should have gotten 100 grands.
Oh, damn.
I mean,
go back to the gas station.
We could have got it there at the gas station. That's all right.
But yeah, it's, this has been a long time coming.
It has. It's been a real journey.
Yeah. When we were getting drunk off of childhood drinks, I don't think I thought we would make it to this point.
I don't think so either.
No. And we made it. We survived.
And we're just about to hit full circle with our second batch of large movie reactions. Because our main episode that'll come out after this is our finale to Pixar, our Ghibli rankings.
100 episodes. We're no better for it.
Really not, no.
We've somehow gotten worse at speaking.
We really have gotten worse at speaking. I think, honestly, COVID did us in. Well, I think we got COVID and then our brains stopped working.
Yeah, because we started out with a lot of flubs. We hit a point in the middle where we just cruised.
Oh, we were flying.
And now we're back to flubbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're not better at speaking. We're no better for it. We're still trash. We still have trash opinions.
That's never changed.
That will
never change.
But
we're here to celebrate today.
Yeah, we're celebrating. And we thought we have to have some drinks.
We have to have some drinks.
Right. I'm doing mocktail versions because I'm not drinking at the moment. I'm not pregnant.
I was about to say, Hannah's not pregnant. Let's just classify.
I am not pregnant.
She's just not drinking tonight.
I started medicine that does not mix with alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't also, so just don't think. She's not pregnant here. Yeah. She didn't find a sperm donor.
Yeah,
it's
don't
all
have
good.
to worry about that. There's no turkey baster.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good. Everything's fine.
Anyways.
Everything's clean.
As soon as I said that, I said, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, I should really clarify because the way you phrased that. Yeah. No, not that you, let's talk here while we're throwing out trash opinions.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to have a reason to not drink. Like, that shouldn't be expected, but you know that if somebody is saying, oh, I'm not drinking, your first thought if you're a woman, are you pregnant?
And I also said I'm not drinking at the moment, which makes it sound like, because some people just choose not to drink, which is totally fine. Anyways, we decided we were going to make drinks. I made mocktail versions. Alyssa has the alcoholic versions.
I do.
We each made our own drink.
We did.
And the other person is also going to try it. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to each name our drinks after something related to the podcast?
Yeah, because all we're doing today is we have different segments of different things that we have done or eaten or drank throughout the course of our 100 episodes, and so we're culminating them all together into one cohesive, fun episode. So today, and hello, we're recording a video while we're live, as Mom would say. Are you live? JT, are you live? We're here, and we're testing out some drinks. So,
okay. Who would like to start?
I think you should start since this was your idea.
So, my drink, I'll describe it. It is Sprite. It's grenadine, lime juice, and ice.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Very tasty.
It is, for those who can't see, it's a red color.
It is, yes.
And this is what I would refer to as the Edward Bite.
Edward Bite.
I also thought about Bella's Blood.
Bella's Blood. Okay. Is this what you were laughing about earlier today? Okay.
Well, I had a lot of ideas.
Okay.
It's an homage to our Twilight episodes.
Yes.
So,
all right, cheers. Let's take a guess. See what it is. Oh,
yeah, very fresh. Refreshing.
It's refreshing.
I should say Alyssa's has rum in it.
Mine has a little bit.
Both the drinks have
a white rum in it. Yeah. I'm here to honor our alcoholic episodes as the alcohol fuels me.
As the alcoholic, she is here to honor.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Would you like to explain your drink?
Yes. So I have a similar in color drink. It's slightly lighter.
It's a little bit pinker.
It's a little bit pinker. So I'll just give you a little look here. So my drink is ginger sugar mixed with a little bit of a ginger citrus sparkling water. Mix that together. It's got some ice, and then there is a little bit of ruby red squirt, a splash of orange juice. I added a little bit of rum to mine, and then in here there is a lime wedge and a clementine wedge because I didn't have any oranges, and I thought clementines would be a close second. They're kind of like supposed to be sitting on top of the drink, but I didn't have long enough toothpicks, so here's what we get.
And what is this called?
Oh, yes. My drink is titled Late Night Bald Bitch.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
To honor our bubbly drink tasting and the fact that we used to record at about 2 a.m. So
every time.
Yeah. Cheers.
They're very different in flavors.
Yeah, they are. Even though they look similar, they're different. A little bit different. I feel like yours is a little more citrusy, like limey. Mine's a bit more fruity.
Never forget the time we recorded an episode and then got an hour of sleep and then left to go to Nashville because that was horrendous.
That was horrific.
Yeah.
That was one of our worst takes. Same with, other than watching 4 Fast and the Furious films in the same morning. Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Other than watching 4 Fast and the Furious films in the same day before we then went to see 9 in theaters, I think that was one of our worst worst decisions that we've made so far on the podcast.
But yeah, so we have our drinks.
We got 2 drinks each, so we can double fist through the night.
Double fisting all day.
Yeah, pumping all day and all night.
Fisting and pumping all day and night. But yeah. Anyways, so we do have a bit of things to go through. We have some fun categories.
We got some segments. We're doing little bits of everything. So that was our first segment, introducing our drinks, talking about 100 episodes.
Okay, so why don't we jump into it?
Jump into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing we wanted to do is a speed ranking because it's become such a part of our show. All of our guests do it. We've done on all of our variety hours.
Yes.
So I think we are each going to do one. We did have a backup just in case.
We do have one backup.
But yeah, I think we should start with that.
Sure. Would you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
I will go first.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
Ooh, I got to pick. I'm going to have you rank your elementary school teachers.
It's funny because I was going to do that to me and then you didn't. But I think now's the time. I think, great.
So that would be, I can't remember your first grade teacher's name.
Mrs. Fettner.
Mrs. Fettner.
Are we skipping kindergarten?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
The Krupps.
Of course.
Mrs. Winter.
Yes.
Mrs. Graham.
Mrs. Van Land.
Mrs. Van Land.
Miss Grimm was my student teacher.
Oh, okay.
So she taught, I think, math specifically. Okay. But Miss Van Land and Miss Grimm collectively.
And then Miss Buttry.
No, I had... Miss Buttry. I forgot Miss Perring taught like 8
Right,
class.
but you had Miss Buttry.
I had Miss Buttry, yes, correct. We had a lot of the same teachers overlapping.
Yes.
Okay. Well, easy 5th is Mrs. Winter. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say anything rude, but as my dad said, it seemed like she was what's the word I'm looking for? Sedated. I believe my dad used the phrase, she always seemed sedated.
Yes.
And you know, it's very possible maybe she had mental health issues. Maybe, she's on medications. There's nothing wrong with that. We support that. But she did not have a hold of our class. No. Frequently there were a lot of people who just wouldn't do work. They just wouldn't turn in assignments, and she didn't really have a control of the class. I remember here, and I'll give one specific example of something that I hated from that class. There was one day where it was just everybody was kind of doing whatever. I was sick, so I was barely talking because I was blowing my nose, coughing. I think I was getting over a cold, so I didn't really feel good. You know, and on days when you don't feel good, you're not really lively.
Yes. And
so I wasn't really talking a lot, and I guess she got so fed up that she was nobody gets to go out for a second recess except for Alyssa. She's the only one who's behaving in this class, so everyone else has to sit inside. Alyssa, go outside. And so, Hannah, I had to go by myself outside to the playground.
Which I don't think that's allowed because you were a child.
And people were crying. Kids were crying. I was I don't even want to go outside. I don't feel good. So I went outside and I just sat on the swings by myself for maybe 5 minutes until one of the other 3rd grade classes came out. So I was just sitting out there by myself, and I think Mrs. Rux asked me, she's oh, what are you doing? And I'm out here, just concerned because there's just a random child out
by herself.
And I was I don't know, I was told I could go, I was the only one who could go out for recess. And I'm that is not okay.
Yeah, no.
In any form. And I know Hannah had her as well, and
yes.
Your experience was also not positive.
Yeah, one day a kid said, "Fuck you, you're not my teacher," which she was his teacher. That kid also just kind of had a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I would also put her as number 5.
4th place, I would put Mrs. Fettner. Mostly because I have the least amount of memories from 1st grade. It's not so much I don't think she was a bad teacher. I remember, so when I was in kindergarten, I was in advanced reading, because guess what? I was a little smart kid. I could read quick. I could read good as a 5-year-old. So I got sent to advanced reading. and I'd go read with the first graders. So she was that teacher's class that I'd gone to read. And it was a family friend of ours also would read. We both went together, and then we had the same class the next year. So I remember really liking the class. I had a lot of friends in that class. But then I had to leave schools after that year and transfer to a new school, so I think that kind of maybe soured that experience because I also was the only kid in my class who had to transfer to the new school. Right. I remember I made a promise that I would never smoke cigarettes, and I still have kept that promise.
Look at you.
Smoked other things, but
not cigarettes.
Not cigarettes. Still haven't smoked a cigarette in my life.
You didn't promise you wouldn't smoke other things.
I didn't promise I wouldn't smoke other things. You're right, Hannah. The loophole.
So you didn't break a promise.
The loophole. Didn't break that promise to my first grade teacher. So if you're out there, Miss Fentner, and you're listening to this, I still haven't smoked a cigarette. I made a promise, and I kept it.
Say no to cigarettes, kids. Yeah. Say yes to other drugs. Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Specific drugs. We've talked about this.
Recreational drugs.
We don't condone illegal drugs. Caveat, wink.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, so Miss Fentner, just out of the proxy of not remembering that much. I think third, I do miss Buttry.
Yeah.
I liked 5th grade. I think it was fun. I feel like I learned a lot. We had a pretty small class. Like, I think there were 6 girls in my class total. Yeah. Which so it meant that at one point in time, she let us form a little girl circle, which was fun. We had all our desks, and it was like all the guys in the classroom, and then we had a little girl circle that was just a circle of girls at desks.
I also had her, and she was nice. And the one thing I remember about her, she always would lose her glasses.
And they'd be on top of her head. Yeah, and she had them on like a cord, like the glasses on a cord. Yeah, she would lose them.
She definitely cared about students and put a lot of work in. So
yeah. All right, so. Top 2 are going to be pretty close, but second, I want to do Miss Van Lan. Mm-hmm. I really liked her. It's funny because friend of the podcast and previous guest, Audrey, went to a different elementary school than me. She's a friend of mine from our hometown. She went to a different elementary school, and we didn't know each other at the time, but we both had her because she switched schools after I had her. Yeah. So she had her in 5th grade, I had her in 4th grade, and I actually went and helped her set up her classroom. Yes. So we were in the same classroom at the same time, or not the same time, but we had stepped foot in the same room, unknowing.
It was meant to be.
Meant to be. But I mean, I was a teacher's pet at that point in time.
She was a suck-up.
I was.
Sneaky
kiss
little
ass.
brown
I was
noser.
like kiss ass, little kiss ass. Doing everything and anything possible to please people. Real people pleaser. If that doesn't come through at this point in the podcast. So I really liked her. I felt like she was really interesting. I feel like I remember her talking about going to see Star Wars for the first time. And there's it's something like that where it's like, I remember a lot of the stories that she told and things we did in that class. We also had a really cool student teacher who I think, at least as far as I know, is still teaching at the school.
Yeah,
so
teacher. The next year she replaced Miss Van Lan and she became a teacher. Mm-hmm. So I had a different teacher, but we did the similar thing where we would go over to her class. I think she taught history.
Yeah.
And so we would go to her class and stuff like that, and she was really nice.
Yeah,
Ms. Graham,
I really liked Miss Graham.
One time, JT forgot us at forgot to pick us up from school, and I think we've already told this story. But she came. We were standing outside, and she came to us and was like, "Do you want to use my cell phone to call your house?" And then we called the house, and my dad was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess we'll come pick you up."
Yeah, they were supposed to come pick us up because we were going on a trip, and I think you were in your prairie costume. Yeah, and I had a project or something, so she was like, "I'll come pick you up, so you don't have to take the bus." And then no one came to pick us up.
So yeah, shout out to Miss Graham.
Yeah. So yeah, and then number 1 is going to be the Krupps. Yeah. Mr. Krupp was my teacher, and his wife Pam and Andy, great people. They do a lot of really great community service work outside of class, but I feel like when I reflect on elementary school, I remember the most from 2nd grade, which says a lot. Yeah. Is like an 8-year-old me, that's where I have the most memories. I feel like they were very conscious about teaching things in a way that made sense for the age you were. Yeah. We did a lot of outdoorsy stuff. They just did field trips for us outside of other classes. We went to the woods, and they went on local TV to try to save these bluffs that they wanted to build on because they're really critical to this hill nearby where we lived. They also did a talent show, and so I made these dog treats, and then they ended up having kids make dog treats to donate to animal shelters. Yeah. They used that, used the recipe that I had used and made these dog treats. So they were doing a ton of stuff. And just I remember Mrs. Krupp, Pam made us like braid our own little necklaces with like our names on them, and like put like hair weaves in our hair, like the strands and stuff. So I have so many very specific memories, especially because it was my first year at a new school, that like were very impactful, I feel like, on just like memories of like what things I remember. So because of that, like, oh my god, my favorite teachers. I feel like teachers that definitely like make an impact like on or like leave an impression on you, like stick with you a lot. So
all right, well, sorry, that's the longest speed ever.
I'm sorry, that took so long because I was
like 10 minutes.
I know, I'm sorry. You can cut some of that out. I just I don't know. I like talking about teachers. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
For context, your other one would have been watercraft vessels you've been on. Yes. The choices were going to be
jet ski,
speedboat, pontoon, duck boat, jet ski, and sailboat.
Sailboat, okay.
Obviously, duck boat is number 5.
You could have done a steamboat, been a steamboat.
I had to make cuts.
That's fine. Okay, in a similar vein of reflecting on your past, I would like you to rank sports that you played growing up. Ooh. So I've narrowed it down to 5 because I had a couple, because I know you did like a year of ballet and tap, but I figured we wouldn't reflect on that. So your options are soccer, t-ball / softball, because it kind of went through, track, cross country, and volleyball. I don't know, was there any other sport that like was big?
I did really. Like a year of field hockey.
I had like ice, because you did like ice skating lessons, and you did tap and ballet with me, but I was like, I feel like those are the 5. Those were the main 5, so.
Okay. Yeah. Number 5 was track.
Okay.
Mostly because I did like longer distance, like a mile. I might have done.
Did you do long jump?
I think I did.
I think you did long jump.
Which, that's hilarious because...
I mean, I did shot put, so...
Yeah, that's also hilarious. Track and field, I only did track and field in middle school. I remember it being fun because a lot of people just did track and field just to do track and field.
I feel like there were like 100 kids.
Yeah, we had a lot of kids. And I remember it was fun because we'd always go on these like big group runs and all that. But in terms of like good memories, I don't honestly remember a lot of the actual like running.
I don't like, it's funny because we overlapped for a year and I don't remember anything about you running, or like I don't even know if I feel like we had to have run together at some point.
I know, I remember like doing specific runs, like practice with you, but I don't remember. Anyways, it's all blurred.
Either way.
Number 4 I would say is volleyball, mostly just because I feel like volleyball was more your sport. I kind of did volleyball more to like either spend time with you or because like I don't know, like
we did a lot of summer camps.
Yeah, we would go to volleyball like summer camps, and like I was never on like the volleyball team. We did rah-rah volleyball together, but I never played like high school or middle school volleyball. I did try out and I didn't make the team.
That's okay. I also got cut.
I'm pretty sure we had like 100 girls try out.
Middle school, it was like 100.
It was intense.
It was intense. Yeah, because I didn't make 7th grade, but I was on the 8th grade team. Yeah, and you could only have like 16 people on the team or something like that. Yeah. It was crazy.
3rd, I would put t-ball, softball. I loved playing t-ball and softball. We played it every single summer. It was always fun because there was always like people from school or like friends growing up who played, and it wasn't like that serious because it was always just like the recreational group. Like I never played on the softball team in high school.
You could have made the softball team in high school.
Yeah. To be fair, our softball team in high school was not great, and I'm pretty sure everyone who tried out might have made it.
I think because the freshman team, it was pretty much like they just didn't even have enough people who tried out.
It was like very.
It was pretty much like everyone who tried out made it.
But I think it also was at the same time as.
It was the same time as soccer for you.
Yeah. So I always enjoyed it. It was fun because we always got to play different positions. Like I played catcher, I played in the outfield, I played in the infield. And I just, like, enjoyed it as a sport.
Are you thinking about the same thing I'm thinking of?
I don't know. What were you thinking
of? Think of the time you had diarrhea.
Yeah. I drank a slushie at the movie theater and a whole bucket of popcorn, and I had diarrhea, and then I had to go catch an entire game and squat. And I thought I was going to shit myself. But yeah, and it was kind of interesting because every other year we'd be on a team together until we got to like where they grouped all the middle schoolers and high schoolers just because of the way the age worked. So yeah, fun. And I like that you got to be actual sports teams.
Right.
Like we were the Oakland A's.
We're the Rockies a lot.
Cardinals. Like and you got to like, you got like the cool jerseys.
And instead of wearing baseball pants, we wore the Softy Sophie shorts, only the shorts.
Well, we couldn't, like, slide or anything, so that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, so women's, our league specifically, women were not allowed to steal bases, and they weren't allowed to slide, whereas the men's league, same age, could do that. Same group, same division, like, same rah-rah. I know. I'm like, God damn. Yeah. Why can't we? I would have stolen bases.
Yeah.
Could have done it.
This is hard. Number 2, I'm going to do cross country. I say that as someone who's not, like, a huge runner, but cross country to me was always more about, like, the team aspect. It was, again, one of those things where a lot of my friends did cross country. We would do these camps in the summer. The races were fun because we always, like, were on the bus, and then, like, you always had a lot of time before the race to either, like, do homework, or we'd, like, sit in circles and play, like, games and stuff like that. The banquets, a bunch of pasta and bread. Yeah. And I did, like, enjoy, like, that was the best shape I had been in. And the only reason I did cross country, which is why soccer is number 1, was to train for soccer originally. And then I kind of just fell in love with it. I did it for 4 years. It was just fun. We always did banquets at the end of the year. And it was just, like, I feel like it was a very supportive environment. Like, no matter how you were, like, even if you were the slowest person on the team, like, people cheered and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then number 1, soccer, just because that was the one sport I consistently played from when I was, like, really little till high school, until I, like, basically had to stop because I destroyed both my hips. I played, like, recreational soccer, I played travel soccer, I played high school soccer for a year. And it just, like, I always loved it. I loved to watch it. We got to go to, like, a women's soccer game when I was in college, and it's always been something I've enjoyed. We used to play it out in the backyard with our neighbors. Alyssa one time snapped her ankle.
I did snap my ankle playing soccer on uneven ground.
But so soccer would be number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, soccer was not my sport. I played a little bit, but I agree with what you said about cross country. I feel like it was individual for your own like, accomplishments, but very community focused. Like, we had a huge cross country team.
We did, compared to other schools.
We get like 100, like, I think it was like 100 kids on the team between all 4 grades. Yeah. That was, like, I only did it 2 years because I got cut from volleyball. Right. And then I remember mom was like, oh, like, I got cut my sophomore year, and she was like, oh, you could go join cross country. And I was like, no. I was so depressed. I was like, I can't do it.
But aren't you glad you did it?
Yeah, but I did junior and senior.
You also had a lot of friends who did it, too.
I had a lot of my friends from high school.
And it was, I felt like it was cool because, like, no matter what grade you were in, people all, like, interacted. Like, I met some people I was friends with who were, like, freshmen when I was a senior, so it was kind of cool to get to meet people. A lot of people I know joined just to, like, meet people, which is cool.
Which I think is, it's nice. I feel like, we had a really good community, community group with cross country.
Yeah, they used to do, like, in the summer, like, they used to do, like, the captains would run practices.
Yeah, when you were, like, you had your week where like, coaches weren't allowed
Technically
to be,
the teacher, or because they were teachers and coaches, they weren't allowed to be there.
We'd
go run to a donut place and stuff like that. So, it was just fun. And
that's definitely still the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Yeah. Because we were running multiple miles a day. So.
I, like, practically had abs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if only.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. I need that motivation to do any running. It's definitely way harder to run alone than it is with a massive group of, like, 100 people.
Yeah. But
so my alternate one for you was going to be ranking drinking vessels. Okay. So I had, like, cups, a cup, a bottle, a can, a mug, and then, like, a sports gallon, like, canteen.
The softball canteen or the soccer.
Cooler, the water cooler, basically, the massive one. So, I was going to have you rank drinking vessels. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Next we're going to do is a tasting segment. And this is, we actually did an update on this not too long ago.
We did.
But I discovered there was more products.
It never ends.
We are talking about Lunchables. They make grilled cheese. There's a regular one and a pepperoni pizza. And Alyssa also found a bologna?
A light bologna.
Oh, light
bologna and American cheese cracker stacker, which we didn't do with our initial one. So we're going to try them.
Yeah.
And we're going to rank them.
And we're going to go heat them up.
I think we should start with the bologna first.
Yeah.
Just to cleanse the palate with some light bologna.
We will be back.
Yes. Okay, gotcha. Okay, great.
So Alyssa, explain what this is.
All right. So, first of all, I'd like to say that the carton says 100% freshness guaranteed, 9 grams of protein per serving. 310 calories, 580 grams of sodium, which is 1/4 of our daily sodium.
For a little pan.
7 grams of saturated fat, 10 sugars. So we have a light chicken bologna, pork added, 50% less fat, and 1/3 fewer calories than USDA data for bologna made with chicken and pork. Then we have a chocolate chip cookie. Looks like maybe a Chips Ahoy, but not actually. A fake Chips Ahoy cookie. And then we have American pasteurized prepared cheese product, because it's not real cheese, and crackers.
Yeah, I was just saying to Alyssa that we used to eat bologna a lot as kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't had bologna in a long time. I don't know that I'm going to like it.
Oh, it looks gross. The bologna does not look
Remember
appealing.
when I said the ham looked like nipples?
Nipples?
This actually
even
does
more,
look more like a nipple.
The coloring of nipple is even more apparent in this. Okay,
God.
It smells like bologna. All right, here's 2 crackers for you.
Thank you.
I got 2 crackers, and do you want a double stack?
Yeah, I'll do 2. We might as well, because we're not going to eat this after.
I think we double stack.
I think I'm going to do interlock. I'm going to do cheese.
Oh yeah, cheese bologna.
Yes.
I think I'm going to do the same.
It's kind of. It's very slimy.
It is. It's not as slimy as the turkey. I feel like the turkey I remember being super slimy.
It was.
So, all right. Do you remember how fun this was when we did this?
Yeah.
You know. It was a great time for all.
Oh, it smells bad.
Smell that bologna. That light bologna.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
So our listeners did not see, but me and Alyssa both just tried a piece of bologna because I bit into the sandwich and I did not taste anything.
It just tastes like processed foods.
Right. Like I couldn't taste a single flavor.
No. Nothing. No flavor.
So I tried the bologna by itself and I could kind of taste it. I don't actually... bologna is fine to me.
It's fine.
It's not great. I also know like it's basically just animal bits.
I mean, it's just processed shit. Yeah. It's going to keep us young
I will say
forever,
it wasn't
though.
gross.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
I think it's probably comparable to the ham.
Yeah.
The ham cracker stackers.
It's just, there's no flavor.
Yeah.
But I think we didn't actually pull our ranking
No, we're not going to because I don't give a shit.
I think I would rank it near the ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mid-pack, I think. Somewhere around mid-pack.
Yeah. Now we're going to go warm up our Sammys.
Or grilled cheesies. Yeah.
Okay. We have come back. We have...
microwaved our grilled cheese.
They smell like burnt plastic.
It smells like chemicals. I think we're getting...
They are not pulling apart like
the package shows the cheese like being pulled apart by people, and I had to cut these in half.
Yeah.
And they bounced back like plastic, like flubber.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with the original.
So this is just a regular run-of-the-mill American grilled cheese with white bread. Microwave for 60 seconds in a little Hot Pot pouch.
Whoa.
I didn't bring a napkin over. Aim for the middle. Avoid the edges. Napkins. Is there a trash can over? Because I'm gonna spit this in. Let's put a napkin at least.
I will, but
be polite.
I don't wanna.
That was way worse than I expected.
That was very chewy.
The bread was like plastic. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
The bread was very, like, we both spit out the corner pieces because I couldn't even chew around it.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough bread.
I will say it was not as soggy as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I wish it would have been more soggy. I think I would have been happier if it was soggier.
Cheese just tastes like plastic.
It tastes like American cheese.
Yeah, it just, it didn't really do much for me.
No. We had talked about when we were assembling these in the microwave that this might be good, like, I've been drinking.
Like drunk, yeah.
Or I need to scavenge at, like, 1 a.m. and I need something to eat. But even then, I don't know if I'd want that. I might just eat the middle bits and then scoop out the cheese.
I think it's hard because I know how good, like, a diner grilled cheese can be.
I know. A Coney Island grilled cheese.
I would probably put that comparable to... Here's what I'll say. It's better than the Dunks, and it's better than the nachos.
Better than nachos, yeah. I think somewhere above that.
It might fall for me, like, right around the ham bologna.
I think a little low. Even lower than the
ham. Yeah, probably below.
Bologna.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
I think it was comparable to the mozzarella cheese stick Dunkers we did at the update.
Okay, so this is like a pepperoni pizza one.
Yeah, it's a grilled cheese with pepperoni. Your side, look at the side difference. Like, this side is like nothing in it, and that side's like stacked. I don't care. Okay. It's fine. I've got a little bit of marinara. But yeah, so it's basically a grilled cheese with pepperoni and marinara sauce added. Yeah. So, bottoms up. He and I just made eyebrows at each other.
You know.
It's better.
This is like a drunk food.
This is drunk food, yeah.
Because it tastes almost like pizza.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a pizza roll, but in sandwich
It's definitely better than the Lunchables pizzas.
Yeah.
It's not as doughy. This actually is not bad.
I don't know if this just batch of bread's better, but...
It's crispier.
It's better.
Yeah.
I could get behind this.
I would definitely eat that after drinking. Yeah. I would put that comparable to... It's definitely better than the pizzas. I like the flavor more than the ham and the bologna. I would put it pretty comparable to the turkey Lunchable.
I put it right below turkey.
Yeah. Because it's good flavor.
Yeah, and honestly, it tastes like a pizza roll.
Yeah.
It's solid pizza flavor.
It doesn't really taste like grilled cheese, but it's okay because it does taste like a Hot Pocket.
It tastes like a Hot Pocket or a pizza roll, bagel bite.
And the bread was definitely better.
Bread was better on this batch.
So you can reheat. There's 2 of them, so you can have that.
I could eat that one again.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I liked the pepperoni grilled cheese better than a grilled cheese.
It smelled horrible.
Yeah, it did not smell good.
It probably has some chemicals that will...
It's going to keep us young forever.
Yeah.
Get so much chemical in our skin.
Yeah.
You know what? Solid.
Not bad.
I support that.
It was good to end on it because it was the best.
It was the best one to end on. I was getting nervous when we ate that first one, and I was like, dear God, I do not want to eat this again.
Okay, so we thought it would be fun because we talked about this before, where the podcast kind of came from. Alyssa and I used to always do these music rankings just for fun.
Yeah.
We would pick a topic or we'd pick a decade of years and we would come up with lists of our favorite top 10. And then we would just, either we'd be both home together and we'd share them with each other, or we'd do it over like a FaceTime.
Pre-Zoom.
Yeah, pre-Zoom. But we thought it would be fun to do one of our first ones we did, which is we went through all the decades in the top
100, Billboard top 100 for the year.
Yeah.
For a 5-year period.
Right.
So we would do like the first half of the 80s, second half of the 80s, first half 90s,
and pull our top 10 songs from those lists. So we did
1980 to 1984 is the list that we're going to do today.
Yeah, and these lists have not been altered at all. These were the list we originally made. We just thought it'd be a fun way to kind of pay...
We had 10.
Yes, I'm still looking for it. Pay homage to, like, how we started. So, like we said, I think we ended up with close to 500 songs to pick between. Well, there was, like, repeats.
There would have been 500 between, for the 5 years that we covered.
Minus repeats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and because we might have been rambling a little bit, the playlist that we're pulling from is from 1980 to 1984, and I believe, if I pull this up on my laptop, I can see what date it was created. So I believe it's 2018.
I think so.
But I could be wrong. I was living in my murder apartment at the time where I thought I was going to get murdered because someone was murdered in the parking lot, and then someone tried to break into my neighbor's apartment. It was a great time.
Good times.
Super fun. All right, so we created this playlist on May 31st, 2018.
Okay.
So Labor Day-ish time.
Yeah. I just graduated from college.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I started on the speed ranking. Do you want to start on this one?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So, my number 10 song of 1980 to 1984 is Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. Classic song. I feel like well known from Napoleon Dynamite for our age group.
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper's great. Great, well-known 80s artist. Solid song. Very much a dance song, like at a school dance. I feel like it's in Stranger Things. No, it's not in Stranger Things. It's in many things, though.
Yeah.
Yes, solid song.
Yeah. Number 10, I have The Rose by Bette Midler, which was featured in one of the Studio Ghibli movies.
Not Ocean Waves. Only Yesterday. Yeah. It was. Japanese version.
Yeah. Classic song. It's just one of those, like, ballad jams. Mm-hmm. Bette Midler from Hocus Pocus.
Of course.
Which we did cover in our Halloween episode.
We did?
Yeah. Great song. Great song to sit in the car.
Great song. All right, number 9, I have Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Solid song, South Detroit, which technically doesn't exist, but any sports game you're ever at in Michigan, they will scream it out, South Detroit. It's a sport, I feel like at this point it's a stadium song. Yeah. Like it always plays at every stadium. It may be biased because most of the stadiums I'm going to are in the state of Michigan and they play
I've heard it at other places too.
But it's a good sing-along song. I feel like similar to like a Sweet Caroline. So
yeah,
Solid journey. Solid song.
Number 9, 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good pull.
Yeah.
I don't have that one.
That's, I love Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Huge fan. One of my cats is named after her husband.
Carl Dean.
Yeah, 9 to 5 is, like, such a good song. It just, like, has a really good beat. She has a way of doing that, like, it's like the, her nails on the guitar. Mm-hmm. And she tends to do that in a lot of her songs. It's also, came from a movie, 9 to 5, with Dolly Parton. Good movie if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I just love Dolly. She's a queen.
Yeah, Dolly's great. I did a dance recital to a sped-up version of 95. So 95. 9 to 5. I slurred a little bit there. It's fine. That rum's kicking in.
She's drunk.
I know. My thimble's worth of rum. All right, number 8. Billy Joel. It's still rock and roll to me. Big fan of Billy Joel. I'm not surprised that this is on this list. I have currently 2 Billy Joel albums that I have collected with my new record player that I've had for a couple years. I love Billy Joel. I think it's a solid song. It's interesting because it's like, that's not one of my like all-time favorite songs. It's definitely, I'm sure, on when we did rank Billy Joel, I know it's on the list. I just don't think it's in my top 5. I think it's probably somewhere closer to like bottom half to 10 area. But solid song. You know? Still rock and roll to me.
Number 8, What a Feeling by Irene Cara, featured in
Flashdance.
Yes. Yeah. This is one of those like dance songs. Like, it's got a really good beat. I always forget it's a song that exists, and then I hear it and I'm like, oh, this is a really good song. And yeah, it's just like a fun bop around song.
Yeah, solid song. It's not on my list, but I support that song. Number 7, I have Hungry Heart by Bruce Springsteen. This was pre-Springsteen voice change, where he started singing pretty differently after a certain point. He still had his young voice. A lot of saxophone in this. Clarence is really blasting away.
R.I.P. to Clarence.
Yeah, I know. I actually don't even know if he was on this song. I don't know when his band collectively formed his band, known band. But yeah, I like this song. You know, I went out for a ride and never came back.
Yeah. Number 7, shout out JT. I have Borderline by Madonna, which I believe might be one of her. It's at least in her top 3 favorite songs.
That might be her favorite song. Yeah.
I know she also likes Material Girl. Yeah. But anyways, Borderline. Obviously, Madonna. I feel like Madonna's very controversial. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I feel like Madonna's very controversial. And I haven't always necessarily agreed with everything she said. She is from Rochester.
Yeah, she's from her hometown.
Yeah. But Madonna, you can't deny that she's put out a lot of hits.
Oh, she's a pop icon.
Especially in the 80s.
Yeah, in the music world, she's done. Yeah. And she was popular in had big hits in every decade, right. 90s, 2000s. Yeah, she was.
She
really
still makes music, but Borderline is just one of those songs that's just very. I don't know. It's kind of a. When I think Madonna, I don't always think of Borderline, but every time I hear it, it's like one of my favorite Madonna songs. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a solid one. Yeah. I feel like, maybe it's not always the first one that comes to mind.
Kind of sneaks in.
It does. Yeah. It's a solid choice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that one either. We have not had any overlap so far, which I think is funny. No. Number 6, I have Don't Do Me Like That, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Love this song. It's definitely up there in the top. Anyone who knows us knows that we love Tom Petty, and I was so distraught that we weren't able to go to his concert the year he died. Yep. We even saw a Tom Petty cover band last year, which was great. Yeah. Love Tom Petty, big fan. Great selection.
Yeah. Number 6, I have Centerfold by the Jay Giles Band.
Oh.
Kind of a one-hit wonder. Yeah. Centerfold is just one of those songs that, even if you don't know the title of it, I think if it comes on, most people have at least heard it. And it's just got this nice beat to it and this nice instrumentation. And yeah, shout out to Jay Giles.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a solid song.
Yeah.
I think you're right that people would recognize it.
Yeah, it's just one of those songs that you hear and you're like, oh. Yeah.
That's it. All right, number 5, I have Edge of 17, Stevie Nicks. Stevie. I love this song. Big fan of Fleetwood Mac, also Stevie Nicks' solo career. This kind of got a revamp recently with, what was the Miley Cyrus song? That was a blast. Midnight Sky.
Midnight
Sky.
Yes.
Midnight Sky. Anyway, so she did a remix with Stevie Nicks for that song, so it kind of got a little bit of a revamp, like, because it sounds similar to Edge of 17. It's got a similar vibe. Anyway, like the song, big fan, supported, here for it.
Yeah. Number 5, I Have Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Nice.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper is just one of those people, when I think of 80s music, I think of her.
Yeah.
She had a lot of hits in the 80s. Yeah, it's just, like Alyssa said, it's just a good song. It does remind me of, like, a school dance. It's been in a lot of movies, TV shows. It's a bop.
It's a bop, truly. All right, number 4. You Make My Dreams Come True, parentheses, by Daryl Hall and John Oates. Solid song. Been a fan of the song for a long time. Probably since hearing it in 500 Days of Summer, I think is when it became more, like, known to us specifically, but... It's a bop. I still jam to it in the car. Great travel playlist song. Yeah. Solid vibes.
Number 4, Jack and Diane by John Mellencamp.
I'm upset I don't have the song on
I was
my
upset
list.
I didn't have Edge of 17.
Yeah, that feels bad.
It would be interesting to revisit this one and see where they end up. But yeah, Jack and Diane. Jack and Diane always reminds me of Going Up North. We always used to listen to Son Up North. I feel like it's one of those songs that... It's kind of like a good storytelling song, but it also just has that, like, 80s, like, nostalgia and feel to it. But it's also a song where I hear it now and I'm like, it still hits.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Mellencamp. No, not John Cougar.
Not Cougar.
He was John Mellencamp.
Just John Mellencamp. No Cougar.
JT also loves John Mellencamp. Yeah. So yeah.
What happened to Gould?
Yeah, no Gould.
No Gould. All right, number 3, I have Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. So I feel like regardless of what your impression of Michael Jackson is as a person, because that's certainly controversial, questionable. As an artist, one of the most iconic pop artists, especially of the 80s, for sure. He was a powerhouse. He was putting out albums, Thriller, specifically, I believe Billie Jean's on Thriller. One of the most iconic albums, honestly, of all time, especially the 80s. I think it's like the best-selling album of the 80s.
Yeah.
It's a truly an amazing song. Great song, especially because he basically wrote a song about a stalker, essentially. Yeah. A woman who was claiming that she had a son with him. And then he just like, I'm writing a song about it. And it sounds amazing, so.
Yeah, number 3, I have You Make My Dreams Come True. Hall & Oates. Yeah, it's 500 Days of Summer. It's like an iconic scene from that. I've had it on almost every driving playlist I've ever had. Just a really good beat. Hall & Oates, just in general, another 80s group that just had a lot of hits. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're a rich girl.
Yeah.
And it's going too far because I know it don't matter in a way. Rich Girl must have come out the next generation, because I was like, Rich Girl not being on this list is a punishment. We should be punished for that.
Just wait till number 2.
Is Rich Girl on this? Oh, I was like, oh no.
No, I was kidding.
I was going to say, because I was waiting, I was like, Rich Girl must have been later. All right, number 2. I have Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners. Truly a one-hit wonder. Now, this song brings me joy. You got like a fiddly accordion sound. You got to build. This song just makes me feel like driving. Like, I feel like this is a great driving song. I do have a problem with the non-radio edit where he just goes, he just like drones on for 30 seconds and I get really annoyed, and then I'm like, I need to skip this, so I try to play the radio edit most of the time because I'm like, why did you do this to this song? That's the reason why there's a radio edit. It makes sense. But it's a solid song. I feel like it comes up a lot. It's in a lot of movies and like television and stuff. But I have liked this song. I remember like this is a song I remember listening to as a child and like translating to an adult still like it. So
number 2, I have Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Queen.
Oh my god. What am I doing? No Queen?
Queen, I have a lot of memories of Queen because we had Queen's Greatest Hits on a CD.
We had volume 1 and 2.
And that Queen was always playing in our house, in the car. Obviously, Queen is just, like, a huge band. Even, like, current day, a lot of people know Queen. Their music's still popular. Crazy Little Thing Called Love is just... I love, like, the relax. Okay. Yeah, I like the breakdown parts.
There goes my baby.
Yeah. And, I mean, Freddie Mercury, just...
Great singer.
Great voice. Yeah.
Oh, that hurts. Yeah. That one hurts me. I feel sad now. But not for number one. Number one, what a surprise to no one. It's Uptown Girl by Billy Joel. Billy Joel I love. Uptown Girl is one of my favorites of his. I feel like it's upbeat in the right ways. It's really short. It's like 2 minutes and 10 seconds or something. It's not a long song, but it just like hits the right beats. It makes me feel good. It's a fun song. Music video I feel like I've seen a lot too. Like an iconic music video. Probably one of his most well-known songs, other than like Piano Man, I would say. Solid hit. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Number one, Come On Eileen. I love this song.
It's great.
I love the way it builds. It's Alyssa mentions in a lot of movies. It's in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
That's what I was thinking.
And I feel like that scene epitomizes the song because it's kind of like that slow build, and then when it hits like the main line, like you just kind of like want to get up and dance. Yeah. Again, a great car song. You can't help but like feel somewhat happy hearing it. It's like one of those pick me up songs, and yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do we have 3 overlaps?
You Make My Dreams, Come On Eileen, Time After Time.
Time After Time, yeah.
Very
diverse,
list, which is interesting. But there's also a lot of songs to pick from.
I think there were 500 songs, so I mean, we usually did have, like, when we did artist-specific, I feel like they were a lot more similar, but when we did these decade ones, I feel like we got a lot of variety.
Except for Kelly Clarkson, when our number ones were not on the other person's list.
Completely different songs, and we didn't even have it on the list. That was wild. That one was shocking, truly. Yeah. We started playing it, and they were different songs, and we were like, what?
But yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to go back to our
roots.
Our roots.
Because we did like 20 of those before. Yeah. Like that was kind of like probably the precursor to doing a podcast. Yeah.
We fuck up words.
Yeah.
We're not human.
We're AI.
We're AI technology.
We're robots. You've been listening to AI this whole time and you didn't even know it. Remember in the first episode when we said who's real? Neither. It's neither of us.
We make mistakes.
We do.
We flub words a lot.
Yes.
And we've released multiple blooper episodes.
We have.
We thought, why not just put bloopers smack dab in the middle of this episode?
Yeah, so we're going to cut to a collections of bloopers mainly from 2023.
Yeah.
Bulk of 2023. And we had so many that, like, we already had a full episode ready to go last year.
Yeah.
Just mainly from Studio Ghibli episodes.
Yeah, so sit back, enjoy, and judge.
Hard, yes. Judge hard. But we support, if I say we 3 times, triple the support. You know, we wouldn't choke to death on carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. Astronomers were doing work, and they were like, this is a weird abnormality. Saturn is known as the Roman god of agriculture. Speaking of anal airstream places, right? I got on my spaceship. You have a spaceship.
Was nominated for the Best Original Song at the 77th. Like, I love that song, and not like in an ironic way. Like, I just really like the song.
They had a personality clash. Not a crash. It was a film, a movie. It was a book. Anyway. And Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler was her mom, and Carol Channing.
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. Like, there's a lot of realism. Co-written and directed by Isao Takahata. It is it's an adaptation, 10th century Japanese literary tale. Oh my god. Words are hard. Sorry.
That's very loud. We're a mess. I could hear that so loudly.
It's a very
clearly it's gonna appear in my microphone. According to Wikipedia, our most trusted source, which
weirdest queer band I've ever seen.
That was great. I did a dance recital to a sped up version of 95. So 95. 9 to 5. I slurred a little bit there. It's fine. Taiko Taiko. Wait, I wrote down the pronunciation somewhere. Taiko. Let me start again.
We're able to, like, weave it so seamlessly where it was, like...
Yeah. To... Oh, God, I already lost my wording. To, what's the word I'm looking for?
Jets that are shown in this movie bear a large resemblance to actual Giselle.
PTSD with that guilt, you know, all of the consequence. I said PTSD. PTSD, you know, guilt. And I was like, this is so, like, a bad soap opera, but so entertaining. I was so entertained. Sometimes what you're looking for comes... Sorry, I couldn't read my word. It looked like it said loves, and I was like, what is that?
Including Kiki, Porco Rosso, and Toro.
I got really distracted by all the raccoon boobs. Like, there's...
My favorite character was Shokichi? Shokichi?
Sure. The line that I choose is, quote, "They used their balls as weapons." I believe that's also a part of the manga as well. Challenged by Seiji. Seiji, right? Soji? Seiji?
I wrote it as Saji.
Saji?
S-A-G.
Sorry. My thing is smeared a little bit.
I wrote it S-A-J-E-E, like Saji. That's how I read it how I pronounce it, so I think it's Saji.
Saji. Okay. I just couldn't read it because my Saji. Okay, my it's smeared right over his name, and I'm like, that's not what I needed. Okay,
it might be Soji.
Soji?
I can't read if it's an O or an A that I wrote down.
It looks like it's S-E-I-J-I. Seiji.
Oh, okay.
Let me look it up.
I read it normally how I pronounce it, and I smeared it a little bit, too.
I know, I did, too. That doesn't help. Challenged by... Spirited Away?
Yes, 2001 Spirited Away.
I knew it.
So that's a long time. That's 14 years. Between 1997 and 2001, it was the highest Japanese box office.
That's 4 years.
Oh, I can't do math.
It's okay. I was like, you're off about 10 years.
For some reason, I read it as 1987. I don't know.
4 years is still a long time, you know?
That is a long time.
Yeah.
Not as impressive. Silent and non-silent theme.
Right.
Scenes.
I was like, themes? I'm like, what are you trying to say?
I was really confused for a second.
Fleens?
Scenes. Yeah, and most of our background, pretty much all of it, comes from most trusted source on the web.
Iso Takahata? I almost said Tikahata, that's not right. It received an...
I was impressed now, and I'm like, this came out, you know...
Clear the fact that it's the highest grossing Japanese film of all time. Other countries, specifically like an Asian audiences, that is a spin-off or sequel. And it's funny because Carrie Ells was in the movie, who is in The Princess Bride. So that was funny to me. The two cars went, I went, and then they came in after me, and I was like...
So in 2013, Miyazaki said that, hold on, there's like a motorcycle gang driving down the street, and my thing is like picking up it really loud. I'm just going to take that back because I can't remember. Yeah. Not necessarily like the effects on like...
It has similar ratings to like some of the Ice Age films. I was just going to mention that, yeah. Let it do it. Let your egg take over Anakin. Sorry, that was my Palpatine impression.
I don't like that. Okay, favorite scene. I liked the but Toshio
Suzuki.
Oh my god. Toshio Suzuki yearns to become human to be with Sasuke. Sasuke.
I think it's Sasuke.
I wrote it wrong.
I was gonna say I just watched this a little bit ago. I was like, I'm pretty sure his name's Sasuke.
I wrote it wrong.
Okay.
Cute, endearing ones sometimes have these really heavy elements.
You know, I was not expecting a story to be revolving around a small runaway. I knew they were new. I knew they were known.
Our official anniversary is January 6th, but unofficially it's not. I have Fast X Vin Diesel saves the Vatican.
Vin Diesel.
I
think that's like the literal translation of the Japanese. And I say this in quotations. Retired in 2013. Just an anecdotal thing.
Sit back. Relax.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. We're going to cut that. I'm not.
Are we not? Are we?
That's my biggest fear when it's like ASMR and then someone yells.
Why did you do it?
My impulses took over. I don't know.
So Zach Brown released an album.
Zach Bryan.
Shit. Of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car, done by Luke Bryan.
Luke Combs. No, Luke Combs.
God damn. Fast Car charted at number 2 for 8 weeks. What?
You just said Fast Car charted. Okay.
Luke Bryan. Honestly, I didn't hate any of his songs. They were fine, you know? I didn't hate them. I was like, you know what? This is fine. For me.
You mean Zach Bryan?
God damn it, Hannah. This is the worst day of my life.
You said it so confidently.
I looked down and I have written, here's what I've written down. It says Zach Brown crossed off Bryan. Oh God. Yeah, all right, upsetting. All right, next we've got from Texas A&M. Too many letters there.
Next we have Texas Tech.
It was a bit of this is a tough one for me. All right, and we're back from our bloopers. Hope you enjoyed them.
Yes.
We get some enjoyment out of them. Some of them I have listened to, and I just laugh thinking about them.
Yeah.
I think let it be perpetual. Yes. I believe the word you were looking for is perpetual. That one stuck with me.
I'm a big fan of the time you were trying to say metal bending, and you just kept flubbing.
That one was bad too.
Also,
breast friend. Yeah. Breast friend. That was probably our first major flub that really stood out. So,
but yeah, I feel like I always love like TV shows that release their bloopers.
Yeah,
like I go back and watch Friends and The Office bloopers all the time. Yeah. Parks and Rec
has some good ones.
But yeah, I think it's fun to. I think it's good to be able to make fun of yourself and also like.
I think so.
Obviously, it's with how much we record, we're gonna say things wrong.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So, we didn't think it would be right to not, to go through this whole episode and not give some sort of homage to Pixar.
Yeah. You know what? This is Coco. Look at this. Okay, so what do we got here? We got...
for the viewers, Alyssa has her Toy Story hat.
I do. I have my Woody hat on top of a Day of the Dead skull. So we got Toy Story, we got Coco, we have a little clownfish, we got Nemo, and a little Eiffel Tower for Ratatouille.
Yes.
I don't think I have anything else that could be any of the other...
You also have the clown.
Clown? Me?
Am I the clown? She's the clown.
Am I the clown?
You are the clown.
I don't. What was fire in?
Elemental.
Look, woo! Take a drink for water.
Also, the secret scene in Toy Story where they light a joint. Sid is like a.
Oh yeah.
Flame. He's pyromaniac.
Yeah, he's using a magnifying glass. Yeah. They bring out the weed vape, and they really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. We wanted to do some sort of ranking related to Pixar.
Yeah, it's our roots.
We thought about it. We thought about side characters, which we've kind of already done characters. We considered doing, like, the trailers at one point. We considered doing...
like music from the movies.
Yeah, or the opening scene, like the opening.
Oh yeah, the opening title sequence.
Card.
Yeah, the title card.
We landed on the movie posters.
Yes. So what we did is Hannah and I scoured the internet and tried to find the like initial poster for each movie. So we potentially may not have found the correct one. Yeah, because
some of them had multiple.
Some of them had international versus a US poster. So we did our best. We went off of memory, so posters we remembered seeing. Some of them we had to just like pick one out of a few, or like what we thought was the most iconic out of a few posters. Like the Toy Story 2 or the first Toy Story had like 6. Yeah. And I was like, what one do we pick? So we tried to go with like the initial like release date poster.
Which is interesting. We talked about how movie posters used to be so huge. And you would go to the movie theater and you would see all the posters and you'd get like excited about movies.
Or Blockbuster even. Yeah. Go to Blockbuster and there'd be posters up.
And now with a lot of stuff just direct streaming, they don't really do movie posters.
It's not as common.
I know Netflix will release like kind of posters online.
But I feel like there was an era where movie posters were a really big deal and really important.
Right. Like some of these I've never even seen really just because they kind of went away. But yeah, so we're going to do our top 7.
Top 7.
Okay, I will start since you just started on the last one. My number 7, I went with The Incredibles.
Okay.
Mostly because, so the Incredibles poster is basically an action shot of the whole family running. There's a giant, like, flame behind them. Frozone's in the sky, and Syndrome is in the air.
And Edna Mode is on the ground.
I just think it's cool. I think it really sums up the movie into a poster. And I think it kind of gives the vibe of, like, this is what this movie's going to be. So, yeah, I just enjoy the action aspect of it.
That was a close number 7. I do think it does sell the superhero vibe really well as a poster. So, I support that choice for you. All right, number 7, I have Ratatouille. Mm-hmm. This poster is one of the ones that I remember seeing, because I didn't actually see Ratatouille until way later, like I think when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But I remember like Disney, like was it Disney 365 or 411? They did like a behind the scenes of them making the cooking sounds and stuff, so I remember seeing things. But essentially what it is you've got Remy the rat surrounded by a bunch of knives, forks, and cheese, basically him in the kitchen with just the logo Ratatouille and the caption, he's dying to become a chef. And I just think it sells the movie really well. Yeah. I think it shows what it's about. It's interesting. I feel like it really focuses on Remy as the character. I think it sells the movie. And I do remember it, so that is important as well. So number 7, Ratatouille.
Okay, number 6, I went with Soul. Soul. And it's pretty basic. It's basically just a staircase that's keys, like piano keys. And the word soul with like a orb in the O. And then the main character, Joe.
Joe? I think his name is Joe.
I
think it's
right.
Joe. Yeah.
On the screen. And I just like it because I like the idea of doing like the stairs as like the piano keys because that's a huge part of the movie. And it kind of, in a way, like encapsulates the soul of the movie.
Oh, a little pun there.
Yeah. And I just like the simplicity of it.
Yeah. So number 6, I have Coco. It's similar to the Incredibles poster where I feel like it sells the movie pretty well. I love that the use of color. So they basically have the that like floral bridge, the gold floral bridge, and all the color of the Death World, Day of the, or what, I don't remember what they called it. Like the name of the afterlife, was there a name for it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I'm sure there is, but basically the poster, it shows the guitar of the singer who sings "Remember Me" or was known for singing "Remember Me." De La Cruz. Thank you. I was like, I know his name is in there somewhere. Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yes.
So it's the guitar, and then you have the main cast surrounding the guitar with like a very small, like shadowy picture of oh God, what is the main character's name? Jesus, I don't remember what his name is.
Hector.
No, Hector is his dad or his grandfather.
Miguel.
Thank you, Miguel. Yeah, I was like, Hector's is the his like great grandfather. Miguel walking with the spirit dog, his spirit guide. And I think it just sells the movie pretty well. There's a lot going on, but I think it works for this like type of film.
Yeah. Okay, number 5, I went with Finding Nemo. It's very basic. It's essentially Nemo. I think that's Nemo. Mm-hmm. Out in the water with a bunch of, like, fish and animals just curving around and kind of the sun, like if you were underwater. I just like how, like, kind of ominous but, like, bright it is at the same time. And I think, again, I just love underwater stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's probably part of it. The colors look really good. And I think some of the other ones try a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
And this one kind of is just like, it's going to be in the water. And it is. Yeah.
All right. Number 5. I almost said 6. Number 5, I have Brave. No, I didn't like... Brave is not, like, one of my favorite Pixar films. I think it was pretty mid-pack when we ranked them. But I really like this poster and the way it showcases this movie. So essentially what you've got is just a big title Brave with a Merida in front of it. And she's got her back facing you. So you just see, like, her clothes and her hair. And just kind of this, like, foggy hillside with these, like, blue glowing lights. And I feel like it is pretty mysterious. So it kind of is like, oh, what's going on here? You know, like, you kind of get the idea of, like, the main character and, like, the setting. But then I like that it's kind of mysterious. I like that it leaves a lot to the imagination. And I think it's, like, a well-designed poster for this type of movie.
I actually wrote an 8 of them. So Incredibles is actually an honorable mention.
Ooh, okay. That's fine.
I was counting and I was like, why am I at
Yeah, that's
5?
Fine.
Okay.
Oopsie.
Wait.
So you want to do 2 then in a row?
Yeah, because I'm behind now, right?
Yeah, you're behind.
Okay.
So you should be 3 and 5. Well, you have to do 6 and 5 then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no. 6 was Finding Nemo. 7 is Soul.
Oh, you started, right. Okay. Yeah. So you gotta do 5 and 4.
Sorry about that.
No, you're
Number
fine.
5 is Coco. I agree. I really like all the coloring. I like how they have, like, the people in the afterlife as skeletons and the other people as, like, their real versions. Yeah, and it's cool with the small image of the boy and the dog. A lot of color, but it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4. Wrong way. Number 4 is Luca. It's very simple. When I first looked at it, I hated it. But then I really like how it's like this split screen of him. So the top half of the water is like his human form. The bottom half is like his form when he's in the water. And he's just like laying, looking up at the sun. And yeah, I really liked the kind of way they did that. And it's like made really well where you can't see it doesn't look really like school project made. It looks very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with your first take where there's something just off-putting about it, but I understand the intention. Mm-hmm. So I get why you like it, but yeah, there's just something that's just not right for me. All right, number 4. I don't even have to move it. Soul. I agree. I really like, I wouldn't call it basic, but simplistic.
Yeah.
Like they use the, like a very simplistic poster. Like it's a lot of blue, a lot of white. I like the key piano, like stairs. I like the orb in the logo. I like that the main character, Joe, he's just kind of like he's not in front of the image. He's kind of in the background because that's not necessarily the focus that they want you to see. But I think it sells the movie pretty well, and it's interesting. I think interesting posters like draw me in, so yeah, I appreciate it as well.
Number 3, I have Up. I don't actually know why I like this poster. I think it's just cool. I think it's cool that you get like an action shot. You get the house with all the balloons, and then you get the main characters and kind of like the I don't know. It's one of those posters where I think helps to explain the plot of the movie and kind of gets you like, oh, this is what this movie's going to be about. Something about it draws my eye.
Yeah, I think
it just does.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
I think it works for what it is. Not on my list, but I can understand the appeal. All right, number 3. This one was an interesting one for me. I really love a Bug's Life poster. Now, the movie I know I didn't rank very high. But this is when I think of like Pixar posters, this is what I think of, is a Bug's Life poster. I feel like it sells the movie so well. So basically what you have is a leaf that has a little Eaton cutout with Flick looking through it. It's just his head, his ant head with his arms, Born to be Wild, and then the title, A Bug's Life. And it's really like simplistic, but I feel like it works really well, and it helps hide the animation flaws, because we know early on that animation was not top notch, but it feels really like interesting, and it's super colorful green. I don't think there's any other posters that use a medium like having a leaf be the poster. I thought was really interesting, so I really like this one a lot.
Number 2, I have Ratatouille. I very much remember this poster, and yeah, it does a really good job, like Alyssa said, of like, this is what the movie is about. It also just very like, it's very catching, because he's literally just surrounded by knives.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting for like a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Like, it feels a little bit like
risque.
Yeah. And yeah, I really like the colors, and I like how I can see the poster and kind of be like, oh, this is what the conflict will be in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have Finding Nemo. I agree. I really like how it makes like the vastness of the ocean stand out, because you're underwater. You can see like the sun rays coming down through the water. You have like one small, I think it's marlin and not Nemo.
Yeah, it's hard. I think it might be
it's hard
marlin,
to tell.
You're right.
But just marlin surrounded by like a swirl of fish, and just the Finding Nemo title sequence on it. And I feel like it does a really good job of selling like the type of movie it is, and like, you know, giving the ocean like a small fish big sea type feel to it. So I really appreciate that one too.
Yeah. Number 1, I went with Brave.
Oh, okay.
Which again, not my favorite movie, but I really like the like mystery of it, and like the mystique, and like seeing that poster makes me want to watch that movie. Yeah, it's just cool. It's pretty unique compared to the rest of them. It's got like a very ominous looking sky, but yeah, and just like how it's her back. You don't actually see her face, anything like that. It's just a really cool poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, I have Cars. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have Cars. Cars 2.
Yeah.
So number 1, I actually have Inside Out. I really like this design. I don't know why, because I don't think it's the best poster they've done, but I feel like it's really captivating, and like I've remembered this image. It's another one, kind of like A Bug's Life, where I just like remember this one so specifically. And it just is it almost looks like a Picasso painting in a way. It's just a side profile of a head with colors in it, with the word Inside Out, and then meet the little voices inside your head. But I feel like the simplicity of it really works. I think it sells the idea that it's like following, you know, the inside of your brain kind of deal pretty well, and it represents the colors of the emotions. So you got that displayed there. I think it just like the like abstractness of this poster, because it's a white background. It's not super like there's not a ton going on here. It's pretty light, pretty simple.
It's also the only one that does not show any of the characters,
right?
I believe, which is kind of cool that you don't get to actually see any of the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's not an actual character.
Yeah, it's
from
the only
film.
one that doesn't show a character.
I mean, you could technically say like the colors are the character.
Well, yeah, but you don't actually get to visually see them.
So I just like thought it was really interesting and unique for Pixar specifically. So that was my number 1.
This one definitely was going to be different, just because it's so like preference based.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which we did have some overlap, but I expected it to be quite different.
What do you think the worst one is? If you had to look,
I think the worst one. Cars 2 is kind of rough.
Cars 2 is rough, but it's also, I think, the bias of hating Cars 2.
That's true. Honestly, I would say the worst.
I don't know. I kind of don't like Toy Story 2. I don't love.
Yeah, the early Toy Story ones were they're just all the characters kind of there.
I also don't like Cars. There's like 50 cars in the background.
There's
too much going on in that poster.
Yeah.
For my taste.
Toy Story 2 is pretty rough.
Yeah, that one I don't love.
Which also, part of it might be just because it was made so long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that is Pixar.
Yeah, so there's our Pixar homage to Pixar. A great time. Let me put my decorations back.
Yes. Okay, so we thought we planned on ranking episodes because it felt right to rank our episodes, but we thought it'd be fun to do like a little award show. It's award season.
It is award season.
Golden Globes just happened. The Oscars are coming up.
Yeah. BAFTAs.
Yeah. We're right in the middle of award season, so we thought, let's make some categories, put some nominees, and then we'll discuss and try to come to some sort of consensus.
Yeah, we are the jury here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking, why didn't you have people vote on it? We don't need people's opinions.
Yeah, with our opinions are the only ones that matter. Fuck off.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do the first category.
Yeah.
The first category is the best intro, which we have done some previously ons now, but for the most part, pretty much every episode has some sort of intro, some story about our life.
Yeah.
And the nominees we came up with were Pixar Part 2, which we talked about, A Poop Bandit in My Office. And people who shit in the Poop Bandit story, people who shit in a trash can at work. Yes. Also talked about the man who shit on the street.
Oh yeah, when you were at the you were doing the crisis center.
Yeah. The wedding song episode where Alyssa told us all about her burnt ass, which you just heard about earlier.
We did discuss it earlier today.
The cider episode where I said clowns, hoes, piss. That's pure Michigan.
Yes, you also started it by saying, so I pissed my pants on my 16th birthday. Yes. That's how you started this story.
Ice Age, where I told the story about how I failed and was dragged at water skiing.
Okay.
Avril Lavigne, where I said to Alyssa that she had ratty-ass hair, and she drew... Wait, what?
So, I wrote this, yeah.
Hannah says, I have ratty-ass hair, and she drew on her Heelys, and JT got pissed in the church parking lot.
Yeah, that were my contributions about what those, yeah.
And the American Girl Doll episode, where we discussed JT making her own incense.
Yeah, incense.
That looked like a giant blunt, and she proceeded to walk around the house and made my clothes smell like weed. And I had to change before I went to work.
What a fun
time. We also just threw state mottos on there, and I don't know what the intro is.
I don't either. You didn't write... There's no comment, so I don't know what it is.
I think I just wrote it, and then I was going to go back to it, but it probably wasn't that good.
I'll just cut that.
I think this one comes down to a clear 2.
I think it comes down to 2.
The wedding songs about your burnt ass and cider.
Cider, cider hard.
I kind of just want to... The wedding story is one of my favorite stories of all time.
Yeah.
But also that line is one of the best lines.
It's such a good line. I just love the fact that you started the episode by saying, so I pissed my pants on my 16th birthday.
Like, and then I ended with clowns, hose, piss.
Yeah. Clowns, hose, piss. That's pure Michigan. Both of those, I think, when I think of like us doing an intro, that's what I strive to be.
Those are top tier.
Those are 2 top tier ones that we rarely get to because...
Yeah.
The reason, honestly, part of the reason why we started doing the previously ons for like recurring episodes is we just ran out of things to talk about, and then we just ramble and
we became boring, and we had no stories about our lives.
Yeah, so
you know what? It's our show. I say we give them a tie.
Do a tie
for different reasons.
Yeah, I think we each get 1 episode for each of us. Right? Each host has one great episode.
The wedding song for the storytelling aspect.
Yeah,
I think cider for the lines.
For the lines, yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations,
wedding songs and cider.
Yeah.
You get nothing.
Cider Hard, Piss Watch 2021, the first episode to get censored.
Yes.
Piss. A Burn for the Worst.
A Burn for the Worst.
They censored
Congratulations,
Piss. Congratulations, you get an award. Gold medal, gold star.
You get the Burnt Ass Award.
Burnt Ass Award.
We made a bust of Alyssa's burnt ass.
No, we did not.
Okay.
Too big to fit there. Oh my god. I'm kidding. All right, so our second category is our funniest episode. So this is where our comedy chops... I can't believe you cut me off.
I'm sorry.
Comedy chops. Our comedy chops really shone through. We had good comedic timing, or we were laughing at things we were saying during it. Either the events of the episode caused it to be funny, or just things we were saying, or whatnot. So here are our nominees. First one, Wedding Songs, A Burn for the Worst. It got a second nomination. What can I say? The first story, you were just like crying, laughing. We also talked about grandma getting down to yeah, and slapping the ass, make the booty go.
Make the booty go pop.
I feel like that episode had a lot of funny comedic moments. It was one of our first episodes I felt like we actually like performed, maybe is the right way to put that. Bubbly, Hannah threw up. Now, you could not stop burping throughout this episode, but to the point where you almost threw up. Yeah. There was also a point we had to take a break because we were talking about Caillou being a little bald bitch, and then you started burping again and crying. And I don't know if I've laughed as hard during a podcast, and that honestly might not be funny for other people, but it's still so funny for us. I've listened to it just on my own a few times, that section. Merch Madness, year 1. Mm-hmm. Setting up these mascot description, which Hannah kindly provided for us, and talking about them. Some of our descriptions of, like, having seen hard times.
Gideon,
the terrifying Gideon. I think you said one of the mascots looked like the tip of a penis.
Yeah, Kansas Jayhawks.
And so it was just so much fun. I think, because that was the first time we did, like, a bracket setup as well. And I feel like it was way funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So, supporting that one. Planets, tangents, and ice rings, I believe. Yeah. This one I feel like we were on this episode. Yeah. It's not a long one either. I think it's about a 40-minute episode. But I feel like we just got a lot of comedy out of it. One, because you couldn't remember the order of the planets and the acronym that went along with it. Also just discussing various things related to Uranus, the sun. I feel like there was just a lot of comedic moments in this episode. Yeah. Songs of the Summer, Country Boys. Now, this one is just because I could not pronounce the names of any of these country singers. They just all blended together. Luke Bryan, Luke Combs, Zach Brown, Zach Bryan. Yeah. I just could not get those names straight, and I feel like that led to a lot of comedy. And then, Lunchables. So, Lunchables, I feel like that was one of our first late night recordings where we were very unhinged. We were saying a lot of sexual comments. You said ham looked like nipples. I
stand by that.
It was something. And on top of that, our last nomination is Jammers Gone Wild. Now, that one was when we got slightly drunk drinking childhood drinks with vodka because we started with a really high amount. We were doing like a shot's worth in each drink per drink. And I think we did like 6 or 7 drinks. So I think after the first one, we were like, okay, we need to do like a half of a shot or less for each drink. But it just went off the rails. We rambled a lot. We went on tangents. We slurred a bit. And it was a fun time.
Yeah.
I think one I would put at the top.
Bubbly makes me laugh every single time.
Bubbly makes me laugh so much.
I just recently re-listened to it in preparation for this episode, and I literally laughed out loud a couple times.
That one makes me so happy listening to.
And also, like, recording it was so funny.
Like, we had to take a break. We had to stop.
At one point, we just go, and we're back.
We're back, like, we had to take a break.
Yeah, I literally almost threw up.
It was so funny. Yeah. I think it was the fact that, one, you couldn't stop burping. Because we were drinking just sparkling water, like, multiple cans of sparkling water. And you were talking about how we'd have, like, half cans of water for our, like, guests the next day. The Caillou being a little bald bitch, I feel like we've referenced so many times. It's come back. Yeah. There's just a lot from that episode that I think was really funny.
Yeah.
And I think it built. Like, it wasn't funny to start, and then it just escalated dramatically.
In theory, I didn't see it being that funny of an episode because we were drinking sparkling water. Right. But the elements almost created the comedy.
I think that is what I would nominate as my favorite of those ones.
Congrats, Bubbly. You win.
Congrats, Bubbly. You get the laugh award.
Caillou, you're still a bald little bitch.
You little prankster. Go back to Canada. Canadian.
Okay, next up is most unhinged / chaotic. We have Jammers Gone Wild, which was in the last one, but mostly for the fact that we literally got drunk.
We were drunk.
And it was so funny because we're totally fine. We hit a point where we're just like going off, and then we get to the rankings, we're totally fine again.
We ate a snack, if you remember. We ate a snack before we recorded the ranking.
And then at the end, I think I said something about Tito's, like it should be called Tito's instead of Tito's.
You did.
We're
still looking for that sponsorship.
Yeah, we just went off the rails. And that was the first time we had ever just gone off like that.
Yeah.
Bubbly. Again, I almost threw up. We called a cartoon little kid a bald bitch. A lot happened. We had to pause a lot. The edit took forever because I burped every 10 seconds.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was a rough one.
American Girl Dolls. I mean, we were essentially ranking childhood, like actual stories based off children.
Yeah, based off children.
They had historical
context of children.
And I feel like we really went off on Molly.
Of course.
Fuck Molly 2024. Yeah, it just, it was a really fun one to do, but yeah, I think we got a little, like...
We got a little unhinged.
We got a little unhinged.
We went a little off the rails.
Popcorn. This one, I just remember, like... Remember when we were like, we're gonna put milk in popcorn? Yeah. And, like, it was a lot of prep work because we did, like, all these... surveys and all this stuff, but yeah, it just, I think the concept in itself led to just unhingedness.
Yeah.
One of our first, like, taste testing ones, and it just, some of the flavors were really weird. I felt like it just got, like, there was pickle flavor.
Pickle was being weird. Yeah, that was weird. It was sour. Weird. It was like sour candy popcorn.
2021 1-year anniversary. What do you remember about that one?
I remember that we had a bottle of Prosecco.
Yes.
Because we were talking about Champagne France, and we drank the whole bottle. Mm-hmm. And then at one point, you just go, I feel drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
It just, like, went off the rails. We did poppers. We did, like,
we did poppers at, like, 1 a.m. at our parents' house.
At our parents' house, yeah. And it just was unhinged. And we just kept, I feel like we just went off on tangents the whole time. Just very unhinged.
To describe poppers, because that sounds like a drug or something.
I mean, it is also a drug.
Yeah, okay.
Party poppers.
We did the drug. No, I'm kidding. We did the party poppers that shoot out, like, the little string confetti thing. Yeah. That was also our first anniversary one, and we kind of didn't know how to do it. We were just, like, going off.
We just were like, what do we want to talk about?
I would say... I gotta go with Jammers Gone
Wild.
I have
to go Jammers Gone Wild as well.
Yeah, because
it just went so off the rails.
When you listen to that episode, it's so clear.
Yeah.
It's so clear how off the rails it went.
It, like, we start normal, and then we just escalate, and it keeps going, and then we do ranking, and it's like, and we're fine. And we're back.
Yeah.
I agree. I think
Jammers...
Most unhinged
You win the Off the Rails award.
Yeah, it's a little roller coaster tycoon loop.
That kills all the people.
That kills all the people,
We definitely did not do that as children.
Nope. All right. Next award is for the most creative concept. So this award goes to the episode that had the most unique or creative way that we ranked something. So our nominees are American Idol's second place. So this was actually a suggestion given to us by a friend and previous guest of the podcast, Esbury. So thanks, Esbury, for giving us that one. I feel like we went off on also... slightly unhinged.
Very long episode.
We talked about conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
We went off on these first and second place and third place winners, but it was interesting to focus just on the second place winners and not on the winners themselves.
I agree.
Number 2, album swap. Everyone shut the fuck up, I believe.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically what it is Hannah and I gave each other an album that we listened to and then ranked the songs of that album.
Yep.
That was really fun because it was giving an artist that you're familiar with to another person, listening to their songs, and then seeing how the songs would compare to each other. Yeah. I thought that was really interesting and fun. ABC Family Pilots. That one was where we started doing our own summaries.
Yeah.
And that was really a game changer for how we did a lot of our, have done a lot of our episodes continuing on.
It also, like, it introduced the idea of pilot.
And pilots, yeah.
Like, we've done a lot of pilots. We've done finales, too. But I think the fact that we, like, just focused on pilot episodes.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to do because you have no context for the shows.
And we have a plan for our next one.
Yes.
That we were going to do last year, but due to the writing and acting strike, we had to delay. But it will be coming somewhat soon. So look forward to our new pilot episode. A little shout out there. Yeah. Shout out. Next, CSI Miami. So this one, we just looked at Horatio Caine one-liners from CSI Miami openings that we ranked based on how much we liked them or how fun they were. The Wave's not the only thing about to hit Miami. Woo! This one was just, we just did this for ourselves. Yeah. Like, there was no reason to do this, and for some reason it still gets a ton of listens, even though, like, the episode is unhinged and, like, in no way structured, like, in a way that makes sense for people to listen to. But I'm still proud of it.
Yeah.
March Madness. So this is when we started doing bracket system. Yes. So this was really fun to look at the existing March Madness brackets. And so we were able to set up these brackets based on the mascots, and also not looking at the teams, but looking at the mascots, writing descriptions about them, getting photos. It was a really fun time, so much so that we continued to do it.
Yeah.
into the future. And the last one, popular popcorn. So this one was because this is still the only episode where we created a survey. We sent popcorn to friends and family, had them rank Chicago mix popcorn. I made some statistics. I did some graphs and things for it. We also just tried a bunch of different popcorn, including, milk and popcorn, like basically popcorn cereal. I'm proud of the amount of work that we put into that one. Like, I feel like it felt like we put a lot of work into it, and it turned out the way we wanted it to. So this one's hard.
Ooh, initially, I want to go with CSI Miami. Sticks out to me because of the fact that we just ranked one-liners.
I feel like ABC Family, because not only did it set up pilots, but it also set up writing our own summaries. Yeah. And I feel like that's important. And then the other one that sticks out is the popcorn, just because we did so much work with that. And we had to battle Survey Monkey. So those are the three of those that stick out to me the most.
In terms of the one that's probably been the longest lasting in our podcast and how we do things, ABC Family.
I would probably agree with that, yeah.
We've even made segments in Variety Hour where we write quick summaries.
Right, speed summaries, yeah.
And I think it has opened a bunch of other episodes for us. So I would maybe go with ABC Family.
I think I could support that as well.
Also one of our most listened to episodes.
ABC Family TV pilots.
Part one.
Part one, specifically.
I'll never forget when Alyssa said, so naked, alone, and covered in goo.
Yeah, he's got a big package for you. Yeah. That, and I could not get through that intro. That one... I'm just looking up.
I thought there was a spider.
No, I'm just looking up.
Yeah.
I don't want to make eye contact with you.
Yeah.
How dare you? Yeah, so congratulations, ABC Family TV pilots. Woo!
Our final category is the JT episode. For those of you who don't know, JT is our mother.
Yeah. JT Award.
Yeah, and this is the one that you would hate for JT to hear. She recently has gotten really into podcasts, and we are really hoping she forgot what the name of ours is.
Did I tell you that I was telling her about Radiolab, which is like an NPR-based, mainly focused on like science and things. And we were listening to an episode about quicksand. Yeah. And in the first 3 minutes, they started talking about people with quicksand kinks. And I had to sit in a car with Mom, JT, listening to about people who have quicksand kink for about 3 minutes.
That's fun.
And it was certainly something. And she kept being like, what do I remember seeing quicksand in? Like,
she's like trying to deter.
Yeah, basically. I was just sitting in silence like, I'm just going to sit here. Anyway, so she's gotten into podcasts. Yes. She hasn't asked us about our podcast yet, and I hope she doesn't, because I really don't want her to listen to it.
No. Okay, so the nominees.
Here's the most we really don't want her to listen to.
Yeah, so I messed up and I forgot to put which episode this was from, but it had a ton of sex jokes. Alyssa at one point said, "It's hard, just like my penis," and then I said, "One swallow, Alyssa." I did not put which episode this was from. We thought it was Lunchables, but it is not.
Yeah, we don't know. It's an early episode, though.
Yeah, and it had a lot of
sexual
jokes.
innuendos, yeah.
ABC, which this was literally ranking the letters of the alphabet. You would not think there'd be a lot of sex jokes, but we somehow got every letter to become, like, dirty.
Yes. It was like every letter.
P was for penis, G was for gagging.
Yeah.
And U, I said, reminds me of the tip of a penis. So once again, I have said something about a tip of a penis.
Yeah. Penis is on the mind.
Variety Hour Year 1. I at one point said that a Teletubby's head looked like an erect penis.
You did, yeah.
As well as I believe there was other jokes that came out of that.
I think it was Dipsy. You said Dipsy's
Dipstick.
Head, yeah. It's like an erect penis.
Yeah. Thanksgiving sides. We call the episode Turkey Fisting, which fisting was allowed, but piss was not.
I don't know why fisting got through.
Yeah.
I did talk about fisting a turkey.
We have a video on Instagram of Alyssa showing...
Yeah.
A fist going up a turkey's ass.
I'm putting stuffing in there. Yeah. I'm stuffing the turkey.
Amongst other jokes that were made.
Yeah.
Pixar Part 3. Harry Potter erotica got brought up. This is where I mentioned Shawn Mendes' butthole.
Yeah, about how he needed stitches.
Alyssa stopped me and said, "No, you can't say that."
Yeah, I did do that. I was like, episode 3 is way too early to throw this
get
out
on
there.
Yeah. Honestly, the one that came to mind first was the ABC.
Yeah, probably.
There's more sex jokes in that than any other episode.
Yeah. Because I was like, I think she'd be upset with the swearing as well.
Yeah.
If she heard a lot of swearing.
Yeah.
But that one, I think, has the most sex jokes and innuendos per ratio of episodes.
Although if Mom heard me saying "one swallow, Alyssa," but yeah, I think ABC, when we made this category, that was the first one that came to my mind.
I think she'd be disappointed.
Yeah, so ABC, you win the JT Award.
Easy as CD P or something?
ABC, easy as
CPD?
There was some, like... there was some sort of, like...
innuendo, I think, because we talked about sex.
Oh, yes. Cock, pussy, dick.
Cock, pussy, dick?
I think.
Was that what it was? CPD, cock, pussy, dick?
I'm assuming.
I think we... Oh, yeah. ABC, easy as PCD. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Penis cock, dick.
Or pussy, cock, dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or penis, cock, dick. That's what it is. Penis, cock, dick. Yeah. You're right.
Because we kept saying all the different ways to say dick or penis or cock.
Penis, cock, dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
JT Award. Woo!
Yay! Okay. Now this is the actual ranking.
Yes. This was
hard.
This was hard. I had to just commit at a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be interesting to, before we share rankings, to share what our 7 most listened to and 3 worst listened to episodes are, based off just listens alone.
Right. So just before we do this, what we're going to do is we are going to personally rank our favorite or best 7 episodes of all of our 100 episodes. And then we are also going to give our least favorite 3 episodes. But Hannah did this as well.
Yeah.
Just to compare.
So we'll start with worst. These were all tied with the lowest amount of listens.
Okay.
Olympics, that is so fresh. Legend of Korra, book 2 and 3. And 2023 3-year anniversary extravaganza. That one makes sense because it's very recently released.
Pretty new, yeah.
Legend of Korra, I get a lot of the Legend of Korra episodes are very low, just because it's very...
We also kind of just threw it out with no fanfare. Yeah. And they're kind of, like, it did not come out at a time that was like Legend of Korra was relevant.
And honestly, Olympics, I can't remember a single thing about that episode. So
I don't either.
It's obviously forgettable.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to reveal the 7 best? They are in order.
Sure. Do you want me to start at the bottom?
Yeah, start at 7.
Okay, so our 7th most listened to episode is Mamma Mia! Dancing Queens Unite, featuring a special guest.
Yes.
That one was really fun. Also relevant because we just saw Mamma Mia in the stage production recently.
It was very good.
It was very good. Approved. Great birthday gift, Hannah. Mm-hmm. Quality time. But it was fun to revisit the songs of both Mamma Mia 1 and 2. And rank them in terms of favorites and talk about that. It was a fun episode to do.
Yeah.
So number 6, we have... you just wrote part 1. Pixar part 1. You wrote part 1. I was like, let me... So Pixar part 1, Bros Before Bows, our first episode. Yeah. That's fun. I feel like the Pixar episodes... I feel like they still get listens as well. Like every once in a while, somebody starts the podcast or gets on Pixar. Yeah. Being our first episode, it's a bit rough, but you gotta learn, you gotta grow.
Yeah.
Still proud of it. And then following that up for number 5, Pixar Part 3, Mater Boating. Now this is the episode we mentioned where we talked about Harry Potter erotica and Shawn Mendes' asshole.
Yes.
A great time. Would recommend. I think that's also where we talked about Mater being his breast friend.
Yes.
I think it was that episode as well. Hence the Mater Boating reference. Number 4, Avril Lavigne, Bite Me.
Yeah.
So everything else is we have talked about in... our year in review. We covered these episodes, but Avril Lavigne, Bite Me, big international listen episode. Solid choice. Love Avril. Number 3, CSI Miami, Hannah Gets Fooled Again. For some reason,
I don't know if there's just a lot of CSI Miami fans.
I guess it's got to be the CSI Miami
It's a weird one
fans.
to have a lot of.
It is a weird one. Following that up with number 2, TV Pilots ABC Family. Just part 1 though.
Yeah, part 2 is
part 2 is not have that many.
Yeah.
I don't know why that one has so many listens, but it does. And number 1, which is to no surprise to anyone if you've heard any of our year in review episodes, Lady Gaga, Hannah's Bad Romance.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. I think when we did the year in review, it was like 20% of all listens were Lady Gaga.
I think now it's more evened out.
It's more even out. It's less than that.
But it's still like
it's hundreds.
It's more. Hundreds more than
hundreds
TV Pilots.
More than yeah.
This one does make sense. It was very international. Brazil.
People love Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Yeah. But yeah, so I thought that would be interesting just to see if any of ours match up. So when we go through these, like, we're taking a lot of factors, or at least I did, into consideration. Like, one, if there was any prep for it, how, like, the actual recording was, and just, like, how it turned out. Yeah. Or, like, if you remember a lot from it, or you just really like a concept. So it's kind of just like a personal.
It's personal, and it also, like, when I started rating out episodes I liked, I had like 20. Yeah. So it was really hard to narrow down to 7. I also did, like, Hannah and I both did, where we kind of grouped, if there were multiple episodes in a type of grouping, I maybe grouped them together to make my life easier.
Okay. Makes sense. So, I think we start with worst.
I think so, too.
Honestly, this was pretty easy for me.
It was pretty easy for me as well. Basically, the way I looked at it is episodes I didn't like, but also episodes that I, like, when I was trying to think about it, I couldn't remember anything. Yeah. Where I was like, I don't remember a single thing about this episode. So. Yeah. Do you want me to start, or?
Yeah, you can start for worst. I'll start for best.
Sure. So, number 3. Funny you mentioned least listened to episodes. I have Olympics That Is So Fresh. Yeah. Because there was a streak in the 2021 where we had about 3 episodes in a row that just, like, it was right before our hiatus in the summer where we needed that break, when we started to get busy. It was, like, right after I got vaccinated. And I was like, oh my God, I can do things again. I can be out in public. And the energy was not there. Yeah. We just really were not feeling it. And then we took a break and we refreshed and we came back better than ever. And I just, like, I don't remember anything interesting about it. I don't remember any of our conversations. I don't remember anything. Like, I don't have a single memory from that episode.
The only thing I remember is we talked about the Hamtaro Olympic Games.
That's right, we did. We did talk about that. We had that video game.
And probably the fact that I was at the Olympics as a fetus.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably. But yeah, it's like, I don't even remember anything about it. I can't remember any of it. So that, number 3.
Okay. Number 3, I went with Ice Age. Mostly because it was horrible, and this was kind of on me. Yeah. I horribly timed it. I had to watch, like, 3 movies in, like, a 24-hour span, and also, like, they just got so bad.
Oh, they were so bad.
I remember watching The Adventures of Buck Wild was, like, the worst experience. Yeah. We were both miserable. We watched it together.
To be honest, I kind of forgot about Ice Age. Yeah. This probably would have been on my list. I remember that.
Yeah, and it just, you know, it was just hard to do. It was hard to prep for. I wasn't really excited about it. Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough time.
Just rough. All right, number 2, I have Board Games, the Monopoly Guy. So this I felt I had to put on here for a specific reason. One, it's an episode I don't really remember a lot about. I don't have any memories from this episode. It was honestly the week after Olympics that it was so fresh. So, like, it was in that span of our, like, little slump where we were just, like, struggling to have energy and put things out and stuff. But the main reason why I put this on this list is Hannah and I don't know why we thought we should do this, but we decided to host a giveaway that we were going to host a contest where people entered, and then whoever we'd pick a random person, like randomize the names and pick a winner and give them a board game.
The point was they were going to get to pick between either of our number 1
our number 1
and games. We were going to send them a new version.
Yeah, we were going to send them a brand new version of the game. What happened is nobody entered our contest. Not a single person.
Except for, like, our cousin who we were kind of like,
well, she didn't even enter. She just, well, we were like, you should enter, but then she didn't. Yeah. Then she didn't. But we were so embarrassed that we've never brought it up again. We've never mentioned it.
We cut that part out of the episode.
I don't think so. No, it's still there. Right. It's not a very listened to episode.
We released it, and we just, like, never brought it up again. Mm-hmm. We're like, no one will remember.
It wasn't a very listened to episode to begin with. I don't
know who we thought we were.
I think we were riding a high. We were riding a high of podcasting.
I think we were getting more listens and we were feeling confident. Yeah. But
it was embarrassing.
We had like 10 followers on Instagram at that point, and I think part of it had to do with Instagram. It
just felt bad. I was like, we want to give away a board game. We'll give someone a board game. And then it was just like, and nobody entered. Okay.
It was rough.
So that one felt bad. So that's why we have never done anything, like any giveaways, anything like that, because I'm just so like embarrassed from that first one that I'm like, we probably would get people now.
Yeah, but I
just am so embarrassed of like how that went down, the fact that and I'm like, somebody's going to call us out one day and be like, oh, who won the board game? But that's never happened.
So, full honesty, full disclosure.
We never said on a board game.
We also said we will never discuss this.
We did say we never discuss it. But then we figured
at this point,
100 episodes, it's time to talk about it. But anyway, I had to put that on the list because of how embarrassing that was for us. And like, it humbled us. It truly humbled us a bit that we were like, okay, yep, we definitely got a high going on. We were a little too confident, a little too cocky. We needed to be brought down to earth a little bit, just a little slap back down, like get down there where you belong,
Number 2, I went with NHL logos. Mm-hmm. I was really excited to do this one because we wanted to find a way to incorporate sports. We just grew up watching sports all the time.
Sports are a big part
of
our
We all played sports. Yeah. Like, it's been a big part of our family, like going to sporting events, and we wanted to find a way, and I think I was excited about this concept because we were going to rank the logos.
Because the Seattle Kraken, I think, was a new team.
Yeah, and so we did it, and I just don't think the episode turned out interesting or the way we kind of foresaw it. And it's fair because it's a very visual ranking, and we don't like take videos for our podcast, like we don't film them, so there's no way to really show that. Kind of like how some of the music ones go. Yeah, it's hard to have it turn out.
I feel like it's easier to describe music than it is to describe a picture.
We also did all the teams.
We did every team.
Going back, maybe we would have picked like best and worst.
I think that was still early on where we didn't do like smaller.
But yeah, it just went on long. I just feel like it's kind of a boring episode, and it just like I was kind of excited for it, and then I remember it not turning out the way I thought it would, so it was kind of a letdown in that way. I
agree. I think that is very fair. I would say that's probably one of probably would be 4 or 5 as well.
I think number 1 we could probably discuss together.
We've also talked about this before. James Bond for Your Ears Only. Yeah. This was, as we were doing it, we were like, this is bad.
Like halfway through.
And this is when we were still doing every week, so it was more of like, this was kind of like the spree of where we're like, okay, we just need an episode.
Just put something out.
We just need to put something out, and then that became like I think all 3 of my episodes came out within like 2 months of each other. I think they were all in like a similar streak of time. It was just rough.
It was. I do think it taught us, like, not to just put something out to put something out.
Right, because it's not. And I remember Tara, a friend of the podcast, even, like, texted us. It was like, oh, yeah, I don't know if this is, like, like it. Or, you know, she, like, constructive criticism. But we knew. Yeah, we already knew that going in. Like, I remember editing the episode, and I fell asleep editing it. Because I just was like, this is so boring. Like, it was, like... I think, because we weren't familiar with a lot of these songs, James Bond songs. We also have I've seen like maybe 1
We're not big James
to 2
Bond
James Bond movies, so I think we didn't do enough research.
Yeah.
We weren't prepared enough. I think it was right before our hiatus too, so we just like were kind of not feeling it. Yeah. And it was just like, that's probably the only episode that I'm like, if we ever deleted it, I wouldn't be upset about that.
I'm almost like embarrassed we put it out, just because I don't think it reflects our effort we normally put in. And I think if we had made an episode like that now, we wouldn't have put it out.
We wouldn't put it out. No. Yeah. No,
I think we felt like this pressure to keep putting out episodes. Yeah. And we've discussed it before in the podcast that neither of us likes that episode.
Yeah. We don't like it. I don't. That's probably the episode I feel like I don't believe supports the like what we do here and like the kind of work we do.
Like if that's the only episode someone had listened to,
I'd feel embarrassed. Yeah,
I would. And that's what they think the whole podcast is. Like, I just wouldn't,
Because it's something like, Pixar is rough.
Right.
But, like, we were very passionate. Yeah. And we put a lot of work into it.
We definitely
And I'm very proud of that still. Even though it's definitely, like, if you listen to that compared to, like, now, there's definitely a difference. You can hear a difference in, like, our confidence and the way we talk and the way we, like, present ourselves. But I'm still happy with it. And I'm, like, happy with that episode. But that one, that one
It was just rough.
Yeah, and like one day that might just disappear. We might just decide to fucking delete it. Yeah. It doesn't exist. But that one, that's probably the only episode I would say is just bad. Yeah. Plain bad. Like there's ones that are weaker, but that's just bad.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to better things.
Woo!
I have a few honorable mentions.
I do as well.
Just because there's so many.
Yeah, I have a couple honorable mentions as well.
So I want to give an honorable mention to Songs of the Summer, Country Boys.
Okay.
Just because it was so funny how many times you messed up.
It was so funny.
I also want to give an honorable mention to TV Pilot's ABC Family.
Okay.
Again, just because I feel like that led to us being able to do like a series and to having these creative outlets. And this might be controversial, I don't know if it is, but an honorable mention to Pixar.
Okay.
As a series, because I agree it's pretty rough to listen to, but I also think it showed our passion. We had some really good discussions. Yeah.
Oh, the top of my pen disappeared.
Oh, I saw it somewhere.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
I saw something.
How did it get that far?
I don't know.
Huh. Okay. I just was like looking at it and I was like, where's the top of my pen? Yeah. So my I feel like my honorable mentions, I feel like we're going to trade off where like some of my like lower ones are your honorable mentions. So I feel like maybe my honorable mentions might be your lower ones.
Yeah.
So first one I give an honorable mention to is our Studio Ghibli episodes. Because they're not done yet, I don't want to like, I feel like I can't rank them until it's collectively all done. Yeah. And like at this point we still have 2 more episodes to come out. So I want to honorable mention because I really enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun. And certainly like really happy with the way those turned out, considering like how much time and effort we put into those ones. So I'm really proud of those, but because they're not all out yet, I didn't want to include in the ranking. I also wanted to give an honorable mention to Zodiac Signs.
Yeah.
I love that episode. I feel like it's a solid episode from start to finish. I liked the concept. I liked a lot of the things we did with that episode. I'm really happy with that one. It just didn't make the cut. And then the last one I want to shout out is the Popular Popcorn episode. Yes. I am so proud of that episode. I love how much work we put into it. I think we surveyed 30 people.
Yeah, and we mailed popcorn to people.
We mailed popcorn samples. Yeah. We had to make the survey. We collected the data. Like I did some stats with the data. Yeah. You know, and then we did like popcorn ranking on top of that. And so I feel like that was a really like well constructed, well executed episode, and I'm really proud of that episode. So yeah, that would be my other honorable mention. Yeah.
Number 7. Fast and Furious as a collective.
Yeah. How insane is that?
The fact that I went from seeing like one Fast and Furious movie to now where I get excited when a new Fast and Furious comes out.
Yeah.
I would consider myself at this point a fan of the series.
I did as well, yeah.
I just think we had a lot of fun. Like, yeah, we ended up having to watch 3 or 4 movies in a day. Poor timing.
Yeah, it was rough.
But I do feel like there was something just so fun about watching the movies and going to the theater, and I think it's because it was like first movie post-COVID. We had so much fun. We were so excited. We've gone and seen Fast X. And yeah, it's just one of those ones that like surprised me because we were kind of dreading it.
We were, yeah. We were dreading it.
And I like thoroughly enjoyed it.
But
not to mention we still have more movies to come.
Yeah. We still have 2 parts of X Part 2 and 3.
And potential spin-offs. Another Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. You'll hear about that a little bit more of that later. Number 7, I have TV Pilots ABC Family. Yeah. I didn't do the collective of... Because I was like, I maybe could do the collective of all TV pilots in general, but I feel like ABC Family, the first one, like we said with like the innovation stuff, that's how we created Writing Our Own Summaries. That's when we started the pilots. I think it's a funny episode. I think it's solid. I really like the output we had from that episode, and I agree with the honorable mention. I think it's a solid like series that we've done and continue to do. And I really liked that format. It was a fun way to look at different, like, specifically with ABC Family, like, shows we watched when we were younger. And I had a lot of fun with it. It's also just fun
to watch those pilots.
It's because they're so ridiculous.
Some of them we hadn't seen. Some I hadn't seen in a very long time.
Or we hadn't seen at all, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good discussion.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. So number 6, I went with the March Madness brackets.
Okay.
We've had 2 so far. It was so much fun to put together. Yeah. It's just like... I don't know that... I think we were nervous to do that because the last sports one we had done didn't turn out well, but I like the bracket style. Mm-hmm. I think it's fun to mix it up a little bit because we always do like pretty consistent rankings, and this was a way for us to do different brackets. I also think it was really fun to compare year to year how different the brackets were.
Yeah.
Because it really just depends on what the matchups are. And, like, I'm genuinely looking forward to doing the brackets in...
Oh, soon.
Like, in a month, they'll have all the teams announced.
I'm really looking forward to it.
So, it's really fun, and we love judging things. And it's, like, we're literally judging college mascots. And I just love when we get, like, the really controversial ones. And it's just... I also, like, have learned stuff just doing the research. So,
Sure. Yeah.
I just love them as a whole.
So number 6, I have Pixar, collectively, all the episodes. I felt like I wanted to put this on our list, one, because it was like the first grouping of episodes we put out, but also we put so much work into that.
Yeah.
It was a months-long process. You know, we covered 22 movies, and we've continued to do it. I also appreciate that we've kept keeping up with, like, every time a new movie comes out, we go see it, we add it to our ranking list, we react to it, and I enjoy that format of, like, setting something up. Same with, like, Fast and the Furious, where you set something up, and then we can add to it as we go. I really like having that, because once the bulk of the work is done, it becomes a lot easier to keep doing it. But I'm really proud of that. It's a bit rough around the edges. We learned a lot about, like, editing. We learned a lot about formatting, especially leading into, like, Studio Ghibli. I feel like we were able to use a lot of things we learned from that to do this better. Yeah. But I'm really proud of those episodes, and I still support them, so.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Number 5. I went with CSI Miami. It's such a random episode, and it, like... I had a lot of fun because I set up a Google Doc.
Yeah, you did all the work for that one.
And I pulled, it was so much fun just to watch. I was working midnights at that point in my life, and it was like so much fun. I just sit there the whole entire midnight shift and like pull these random one-liners, and I think the episode turned out pretty funny.
I think so too.
It was funny to hear Alyssa read some of the descriptions, and like I just was reading descriptions, and it just, obviously it's like done well for our audience, but I remember just being so excited to do that episode. And I also was, like, very surprised we got so many listens because we really were just doing that for Tara.
Oh, yeah.
And for us.
Right. Yeah, that was a very much, we were just doing it for ourselves
And
episode.
It ended up, like, people liked it. And we had a guy like it who was a stunt double.
Yeah. That was so funny.
He liked my tweet that was a stunt double on the show.
Yeah, someone who worked on CSI
so I'm like,
Miami.
Someone who's actually on the show.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Liked our episode.
Yeah, someone who worked on the show noticed us.
Yeah,
and that
so
felt good.
it just, I have a lot of good memories of that episode. And I remember you did the intro with the sunglasses.
I did,
and,
I did, yeah. So number 5, I have Fast and the Furious. I agree with everything you said. I remember when we started talking about doing the podcast, we both mutually thought that we should do like a series or something we don't have a lot of familiarity with, and we both came to the like conclusion we should do Fast and the Furious, like independently. And that says a lot, that we both were like, hey, we should do this series. I've had so much fun covering this. These are like a group of episodes, like I wish we'd do better. I wish we could have more listens, but I think our podcast is maybe not the right audience for people who watch Fast and the Furious.
Right.
Like, the overlap is maybe not there.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I love watching those movies.
Yeah.
I get, like, as we said when we watched them, like, I get the appeal.
I get it.
I understand why people like them. They are so ridiculous, but they're fun.
They're entertaining.
They're very entertaining movies. And I'm so glad we did that, just to have that experience. Because I would have never watched 10 Fast and the Furious films. I think I'd seen Tokyo Drift in number 1. So, yeah, and that's it.
Number 4, I went with Wedding Songs.
Okay.
This was probably the first episode that I genuinely was like, oh, like, we can do this. Yeah. Like, I felt like Pixar was a bit rough. Like, we did done Legend of Korra, and I felt like Wedding Songs was the first time where it, like, all clicked. Your story was so funny. Talking about Grandma on the dance floor and, like, how we wouldn't listen to Genuine Pony.
Yeah.
It just was funny, and I remember we sent that episode to people to listen to. And give us feedback on. And that was always the episode that I would tell people, like, if they said, like, oh, what episode should I listen to? I would always tell people that one, because it's shorter.
Yeah.
I think it just turned out good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So number 4, I have American Girl Dolls, Fuck Molly. I love this episode. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but something about ranking, like, dolls based on historical time periods was so fun. I did a lot of the background for this. I think you got some of the background as well.
Yeah, you got a lot more though.
But I had a really good time, like, looking up, like, the historical time periods of these dolls and, like, them being created, and I liked, like, it was sort of like in a sick way, really fun to rank, like, young dolls based on their personalities and, like, their attitudes and stories that are created about them and their outfits. And it was just, like, such a fun episode. And I feel like we got a lot of really good feedback about that one, too, just, like, in general. And it's one I think about a lot when I'm, like, episodes that I'm really proud of and, like, happy with. Like, that one, I think, is pretty unique in the way that we, talked about it, and was a really fun one that I would, like to try to emulate or, like, do in a different format, but something similar to this. Like, it feels really ridiculous, like, doing it, but it turned out really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, this episode was born at an airport bar.
Oh, yeah.
Winnie the Pooh and Depression 2.
Winnie the Pooh and Depression 2.
I have such a soft spot for this episode.
I do, too.
I just really like this episode. I think it was one of our best conversations. I didn't really expect the conversation we had, but we got very deep on, like, mental health and, like, stuff that is important to us. It was funny, too. Like I said, Pooh was a flasher. There was a lot of unhinged things we said. But, I really like this episode. It's not necessarily one of the better view or number-wise, which kind of makes sense because how many people are listening to a Winnie the Pooh episode?
Yeah, ranking Winnie the Pooh characters.
Yeah, but I just really love this episode. I went back and listened to it a couple weeks ago just to make sure I wasn't, like, misremembering. But, I just really like the conversation we had.
I agree. I have a soft spot for that one, too. It was on my short list when I was thinking of episodes. Number 3, I have Bubbly, Hannah Threw Up. I love this episode. It's one I've come back to more than once just to listen to on my own. Just that part where we're talking about Caillou and you just start, like, dying. You're just, like, burping and crying, and just everything about that is so funny. And, like, that was, like, we laughed so hard. Like, that's probably the hardest I've laughed doing the podcast. It was so much fun to do. It came out way differently than I thought it was going to be, based on just drinking sparkling water. And I think it just holds up a lot.
Yeah.
I think it holds up really well and is a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah. Number 2 is Jammers Gone Wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I remember filming it, but I don't remember how funny it was until we edited it, because I think we were kind of drunk and we didn't even remember, like, what we had discussed. But it's funny. It's, like, genuinely, like, I've laughed out loud at a couple of the moments. Just how quickly, I love how quickly we come back for the ranking and we're, like, totally fine.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, a lot of things about it, and it was very early on, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny.
It's a good one. Number 2, I have March Madness. Yeah. I love March Madness. Yeah. I like the concept of it. You put a lot of work into doing the background. And when we did it again last year, I added, like, our comments from the previous year for mascots that made it into the second bracket. Yeah. So it was fun to, like, reference things we had discussed about those ones, as well as looking at new ones as well. And I think this format is fun because the bracket's going to be different every year. Yeah. Like, we might see some of the same mascots, but they're not going to be facing the same...
Different matchups.
Matchups in a way that's not going to create the same winner. And I think we both had different winners for each year that we've done it so far. It's just such a fun one. I really like, of all the episodes we do that are, like, have become, like, a yearly thing, this is probably the one I most look forward to. Like, I'm really excited. We're, like, coming up on March Madness in, like, next month, so I've been looking forward to this. But it's just, like, a really fun episode, and I'm glad we found a way to do sports in a way that works, and I think the format works a lot better than, like when you mentioned NHL logos.
It's fun. And we also we like filling out March Madness brackets in general. So I think it's just fun. It's that time of the year where it's fun to do.
Yeah.
Number 1, I gotta go with Bubbly. This is probably the most I've laughed recording an episode.
Yeah.
And I can remember, like, my stomach was so much in pain. There was so much gas.
On fire,
and I just, like, I could not stop burping. At one point I got up and walked over to the sink, and I just, like, I thought I was going to throw up, and I just kept burping, and Alyssa was, like, dying laughing.
That's so funny.
The whole Caillou discussion is, like, one of the funniest things. Yeah, and it, like you said, I would not have expected a Bubbly episode to be our funniest episode.
Yeah.
And it got mentioned multiple times in our awards. So, it's just, it's my favorite.
Yeah. So, number 1, I still have such a soft spot for Wedding Songs, A Verb for the Worst. I think you said it well when it's like, this is the episode that I felt like we can do it.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing it. Because we had already recorded, like, 6 episodes.
Yeah, we had done all Pixar
and Korra.
Yeah.
And I think we had even done Lunchables maybe at that point. Or maybe not. Or right around there. Yeah, we had recorded a bunch of stuff. But this was the episode, I remember when we were, like, we wanted to send it out. I think we sent it out to, like, 4 or 5 people just to see if they would listen to it and give us, like, feedback. And that was the one, like, after we recorded that. And it's pretty short. It's, like, a half an hour. I just remember being, like... I feel good. Yeah. Like, we can send this to people. Because I feel like with Pixar, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know if I want people to listen to this. Yeah. You know, I kind of was like, we were still trying to get our footing down. And we hadn't edited it yet. So it was like, that was, trying to figure that out. But this episode, I felt confident on. We had a really good story. Yeah. We had a lot of really good commentary about the songs at weddings.
Yeah.
A lot of really funny moments.
Yeah.
It just, like, I think it flowed really well. It made me feel really confident about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we did this episode, and I was like, this, I feel good about.
Yeah. I honestly think this episode is the reason why we're at 100 episodes.
I think so, yeah.
Because I felt like this is the one where we both got confidence, and we both were like,
we
genuinely enjoyed it. Because Pixar was fun, but it was also kind of stressful.
It was also, like, COVID, so it was, like, also stressful in general.
And I think it was so nice just to see, like, oh, that was a lot of fun. Like, we had a good time, and
it was, like, kind of a creative concept because it was, like, wedding songs.
I also think, like, a lot of our true personality came out.
Yeah,
I felt like Pixar and Korra, just because of the context, it wasn't, like...
not really a personal basis.
But, we kind of let more of our personality shine. And, I agree.
Yeah, I just have such a soft spot for it.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, like, honorable mentions, like, guest episodes.
Yeah.
It's hard. I would never, like, rank them, like, because I think all of our guest episodes are so different, but also, like, so unique. And
right.
It's nice to have a third perspective.
Right. I like enjoying having a person who's not us come in to talk about
so
I
things. Just, like, don't want that to be left. Yeah. Those definitely have a place in my heart, too.
Oh, for sure.
And we look forward to doing them. We have a couple coming up this year.
Yeah. Our next episode after this one comes out, we'll have a guest on.
Yeah. But yeah, that's,
that's our ranking.
That's our ranking.
Let's just skip the recap. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited about this year. I think we've finally been able to find a balance.
So 2023 was a rough year for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, not just
personally,
because of the podcast.
Professionally. Yeah. And I feel like we definitely had a hard time with 2023, especially output.
Yes.
And just like getting like ideas off the ground, figuring out how to schedule. Ghibli wiped us out for a while there. And I had a really fun time enjoying doing that, but that kind of took up most of our 2023 was Ghibli. But I feel really happy about, one, the amount of output we've done recently.
Yeah.
Like the amount of episodes we have planned. By this point, our research break will come out.
Research break.
And I'm really excited about that format because I think it'll give us a little bit of, like, to talk about things we haven't really been able to find a way to figure out how to do, like, a ranking with. Things that we're passionate about. I'm excited about some of our ideas for episodes that are going to be coming up later on. Bringing guests back, because we didn't have any guests in 2023. That felt bad. I felt bad about that.
Yeah, and I think we have some continuations.
Yeah,
we have Lindsay Lohan.
We do. Irish Witch.
Irish Witch comes out in March. We have, like Alyssa said, March Madness.
There's a Pixar movie, Inside Out 2,
Pixar
coming out
in
this year.
June,
I think it's in June.
Yeah. So we'll have some continuations. We have a music one coming out.
We do.
Which people may come after us.
Yeah, that one might be a little rough.
Yeah, and I feel like we just have, like, a good amount planned. Like Alyssa said, another TV Pilots one. So I think it will be good.
I feel optimistic about this year so far and what we're going to be going into.
We have not completely filled our schedule, so if you have any recommendations or things you would like to see, a lot of our recommended episodes I have a lot of fun doing.
The Planets, that was a recommended episode. American Idol Second Place Winners, that was recommended. Like, quite a bit of our episodes have been just suggestions from people we know. We're like, hey, why don't you do this? And we're like, we can make that work, figure it out. So we like the suggestions because sometimes we don't think of things. Like, you know, sometimes we're sitting at an airport bar drinking a drink and we think about Winnie the Pooh depression. You know, and sometimes we are just like, I don't know anything. I can't speak. I don't have thoughts. But yeah, thank you for anyone who supported us through 100 episodes, because that's wild to have 100 episodes of anything that we've put out and the time and effort and energy we put into it. Any guests who have been on our show, you know, we appreciate your support and work with us.
Like, people give us feedback. I love hearing from people, like, which episodes they like. I mean, it's been a good run, and cheers to 100 more.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if we get to 100. You know? I feel like the once a week really propelled us to getting to 100 way quicker than what we're going to do.
It's going to take us a while to get to another 100.
I mean, honestly, if we do a lot of these research breaks, I feel like those are episodes. They count, so...
if you have any ideas for research breaks, too, or if you would like to be on one.
Yeah, if you want to be on a research break, that's a pretty easy way to get guests on, I think.
Come to us with a topic and don't tell us about it ahead of time, and we'll just discuss it. We have our email, r3podcast@gmail.com. We have our Instagram, our letterbox. And...
any concerns, comments, feel free to contact us. Let us know. We do actually read our emails and look at our Instagram, so we will respond to you if appropriate.
No feed pics.
Still no feed pics. We don't want those.
Maybe
if
we get to 200. No, I'm just kidding.
Get to 200 episodes. We'll send feed pics. We'll post our dogs on the internet.
Those barking dogs.
But thank you for 100 episodes. It's a big deal. It feels like an accomplishment. I feel like that's a milestone. It's important.
Like we said early on, we're quitters.
We are quitters.
So the fact that we made it to 100 is frankly kind of amazing.
And kind of revitalized, I feel like, into this year. So, thank you. We'll see you next episode, whatever that may be. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.
That's my contribution. My tiny burp. That's all I got.